So this is the Sproaty shit show. Ah, I'm live. How do I add in the description? What up, Rich? Come on, but come on the fucking stream. Yes. Rich Mitch, everybody. Everybody. There's probably nobody here. I don't know how many viewers are here. Come join me, dude. What I should sort this out. Behold the flowers in my in a protein shake bottle. Come on, Rich. Come on, Bat. So I've started this. I have no idea what to say, who is watching, who I'm talking to. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of down to me to kind of get this shit going, right? But yeah, I put the link in the chat. Feel free to join on. I have no intention of what this thing will be about. I'm here, I suppose, yeah. My neighbour's banging upstairs once again. This is kind of crap when I have no actual subject. I don't know what to say. I think there's 2 people watching, so it's difficult to just talk. I don't know. Maybe you should play some guitar, get some. I don't know. Come join me. That might be a bit loud. It is 11 o'clock here, so I better keep it down, really. No. What's my biggest fragrance regret? Getting into this shit, man. It's such a fucking time and money consumption. I don't regret buying anything. Anything I kind of don't like, I sold. You know, I can't be bothered sort of having stuff that I'm not too into. But no, Rich, come on. Nobody else is coming by the looks of it, so it's cool. And also, I haven't actually invited anybody else. Yeah, we may have a Rich Mitch appearance here. I'm sure people would like to see Rich. He's been unboxed before, but he can come again. So, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's not watching. Yo, what up, bud?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
All right, I'm just lying in bed.
Hang on a sec. You're really quiet. I'm not sure if that's just me or if it's your volume. One sec.
It might just be me being quiet. Can you hear us better now? Oh, fuck off. I just dropped you. Hello. Can you hear us better now?
Yeah, that's a bit better, man. How you doing, man?
Yes, how are you?
Hey?
I'm good.
Good. It's nice to hear your voice.
Nice to hear my voice. Oh, Diddums, come a little closer. Just pouring some more water. I'm on the thirstiest drug in the world.
Yeah?
yeah, gabapentin.
Get some down here, man.
Oh, that's right. I'll be up pissing the bed through the night. I've never done that yet. Don't worry.
Not even as a kid.
Well, I've done it as a kid, but I haven't done it as an adult. I know a few people who I had a mate, right, who had a proper drinking problem, and he used to get so pissed that he would like he would like wake up in the night and start like sleepwalking, right? And he got up, right? And he was only about 17, 18. And he got up. He was still living at home with like parents and his sister. Got up in the middle of the night, walked into his sister's bedroom, opened that cupboard, pissed in that cupboard, right? He went back into his own bed, and that was it. I was just
Did they discover that the next day or what?
No, apparently she started fucking. She didn't know, she knew not to wake him up because apparently you're not supposed to wake sleepwalkers up. But like she knew not to wake him up, and he was just pissing in the fucking thing. But apparently she was pissed as well, so she was just like, "What the fucking hell's going on?" Do you know what I mean? So it was like, ugh.
I had a friend say that. He said, my friend, he said he doesn't sleepwalk, he doesn't do anything of the sort, but he was over a female's house, and kind of the same thing happened almost, you know? He kind of just went in the corner of the room, which is mental. You know, like he had no recollection of it, and she was shouting at him, saying, you know, you woke up and pissed in the corner. And he's like hell did I? I don't do that. But there was evidence, so to speak.
Oh, there was evidence.
Yeah.
Folks.
Unless she just set it up and she just poured a glass of water into the corner.
Oh, right, or just did it herself and then tried to blame him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That's what's happened there, isn't it? You know what I mean? Is there anybody watching?
There's 2 people watching, but I'm not sure if that's like me and you.
Yeah, I know. That might just be me and you. Just having some banter. Have you not got the case? Have you got the case to Channel 69?
I do, yeah. I was going to go on there, but I thought, you know what, it's my own channel. I'm going to make it my thing. Oh, there's 3 people now, so hey, I can't actually see who's there.
No, it doesn't tell you. I don't think it tells you who's watching.
Nah, it tells you numbers.
Yeah.
Although I think if you go to the comments, or you actually view if I view it on YouTube myself, I might be able to actually see who's in there.
Who's in the comment? I can't see the comments.
Actually, I can see there's a guy, Aidan, who's been a long-time subscriber, and he always comments, who's an Irish fella. There you go, Aidan.
Hello.
Hey, dude. Yeah, he's cool, man.
I can't see the comments at all. So I'm just
you're on your phone, right?
Yeah, I'm on your phone, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got a laptop or a PC. I'm an absolute peasant.
It's fine, man. I take the piss out of you for not having one, but it does make stuff easier, I think, in terms of. I was like streaming on my phone before, and just a pain in the ass to sort of look at my phone. You know, it's like a 5-inch. You know, it's not a big thing, so it's just difficult to sort of look at this. I find, and I much prefer to use my computer.
I think I'm going to get a tablet, rather than a PC or a laptop. Definitely not going to get a PC because I can't sit up at the computer.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get a laptop. I'm gonna get a tablet or something like that. I just want something I play Football Manager on.
Nice.
It's essentially a stats game, that.
Yeah. I remember one came out on the PS1, like a Championship Manager, like one of the old school ones. Also, hey Daniel.
Sorry,
I'm trying to be a host here and actually welcome people. It's different. If I'm not being rude, I have to sort of manage this.
No, it's fine.
Hosting a stream and sort of talking to people. Yeah. It's difficult.
I'm a big boy. I can take it.
I know. I rip the shit into you all the time, man. So.
Yes, I know. We take the piss all the time, don't we? It's not a problem. I'm a big boy. We're British. This is how we show affection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm not really into football. Like, is the new Championship Manager games? That's the actual name of the game, isn't it?
No, it's Football Manager now.
Is it? Is it the same like genre? Oh, another genre. Sorry, the same franchise, I suppose. Nice. Yo, your microphone's gone to very quiet again.
Can you hear us now?
Just barely.
Fucking hell. I'm gonna change my headphones because my other headphones have got a microphone on. So if you give us 2 seconds, I'm just gonna change my headphones over.
I'm gonna just play some music quickly, just so I can gauge how loud I've got my thing at. Okay, it's not too loud.
2 seconds. Right, they're plugged in, but they're not plugged into me, so.
That sounds better already.
Is it better already? Is it? Yeah, I've got the Samsung ones in. So if you give us 2 seconds, the other ones are just like £5 cheapy ones, but they go into your.
You got 3 seconds. 4, 5. Oh, look. Top 5, top 6,
top 7, top 8.
Yeah, it's the standard like YouTube fragrance thing, isn't it? Top. I keep going off center. The top 10 most best fragrances. Yeah.
You should do like lists, but make them really awkward numbers, like top 7. Do you know what I mean? Or top 13 fragrances. See how people react to them.
Well, I done a top 1. I done a top 1 sexiest fragrance, and I was just like, it's fucking kudos. Just like,
yes.
Could be bothered.
I've got some vintage Givenchy Gentleman on today, and I've also got the latest version of Givenchy Gentleman on today. And both of them, especially the new one, makes like the tip of my tongue go numb. Like, yeah, it's dead weird. I think it's like it must be like one of the top notes. You know how it's got like civet in it. Mm-hmm. It's got some like animalic, like pissy note in it. It's very zingy.
I believe that's honey. It's quite
yeah, it could be the honey. It's got this. I'll tell you what it's got. It's got like an astringent quality to it. You know, like honey's like a good disinfectant. Mm-hmm. Because like bees don't have an immune system. So there's a stat for you if you didn't know that. Bees don't have an immune system, right? And they use honey, right? They use honey as like as a disinfectant because the pollen and stuff like that is got a disinfectant quality because it has to be because of like the nature of it. They also use pine. They also use like resin from trees, especially pine trees as well, and lavender. Lavender's got a really good like medicinal quality as well. So that's why bees. Do you know how like bees have been dying? You know, like an environmental thing, like the decline of the population of bees, especially honeybees. It's because they've got no immune system. So if they get infected, if there's like an infection in a bee colony, then they're fucked basically.
Right. My knowledge is very little, to be honest.
I don't know why I know this.
I've been informed.
Oh, you've been informed, have you?
You
should be gone with that, butter.
Yeah. I've been asked what are my top 3 clone houses. The answer is none.
None. No, I don't believe. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah. Clones are perversions of fucking perfume.
It's a bit difficult because I started my channel just talking about clones, so I do get comments on like really old videos from 4 years ago, and I was talking about like clone houses back then, and I kind of always respond to say I've sold these now. I don't actually own any clones.
Yeah.
So that's my attitude towards it now, unfortunately.
Sometimes what I'll do. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, I was just gonna say sometimes you'll buy a perfume like I like it gets into like dodgy territory for me because what I find is I go to buy like a perfume like Amber Tobacco from Daniel Hossier. Barry from Centralize sent us Daniel Hossier's sample set, like discovery kit, and I was like, ooh. I want to try this Amber Tobacco. That sounds nice. Amber and tobacco. That sounds nice. And I sprayed it on. I was like, that's glorious. That's absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, but I've smelled this before. I was like, where the fuck have I smelled? Wherever.
Pure Havana?
No, it wasn't Pure Havana, although it had a touch of Pure Havana about it, but the cherry takes it in a different direction in Pure Havana. It's Amber Narguilé by Hermes. And what I end up doing is, like, since I'm like a bit of a purist, a bit like you, I see that smile on your face. That since I'm a bit of a purist, what I end up doing is I'm trying to find out which one came first, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to get the one that came first because the other one's a copy. Do you know what I mean? I get really anal about it.
I actually owned that once upon a time, but I sold it because it just didn't really do it for me. Oh, Rich has disappeared. He's probably pressed he's probably fucked something on his phone. I was actually going to ask him something, but I'm sure he'll rejoin. But yeah, guys, here's the link if anybody wants to come on. Feel free to join me. There's no purpose to this stream. I'm just here talking shit. You know, it's the Sproaty shit show. That's what you're going to get. Oh, he's back. One sec.
Deepest apologies, I dropped you.
I figured, man. I thought you might just press something on your phone and exited by
I've
accident.
just got gigantic thumb.
I
What
keep
did you
missing-
say?
I was saying I owned amber tobacco at one point, but I sold it because it's too sweet. It's not my kind of scent.
Yeah.
I'm very not against, but sweet scents don't do it for me. Like that.
Yeah.
What was that when you sent me the other day? The Wakan or Cajun or something like that? Cajun?
Oh, Warwick.
Warwick. Yeah, that's really sweet, right?
Yeah, the one, the saffron one.
Interestingly, I was slating that, telling you it felt like bad quality, but it did sort of come alive in the dry down. I felt that it was much more, it was much better sort of 4 hours after I sprayed it on.
Yeah,
It came off as pretty cheap to me, which was annoying.
I'll tell you what you might be thinking it smells. You might be thinking it smells tacky because it's a Middle Eastern house, and I hate the fuck that's a sensational over generalization that I've just made there. But a lot of people think that Middle Eastern perfume is quite tacky sometimes. And Middle Eastern.
That it just feels like the quality, just for a $200 fragrance, whatever, €200, 100, whatever the cost, it was kind of expensive. It was just really, it didn't seem like the quality would justify that kind of price to me. And that's one thing I'm being a bit sort of, when I'm smelling things nowadays, I'm always like keeping that in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Do you think how many vintage Koroses you could get for that? Does that do you end up thinking that? I end up thinking that when I make a bad blind buy. Because I really like that Warwick. I really love like the appley saffron at the top, and it fills a gap in my collection because I haven't got anything else that does that apart from Persian saffron. But Persian saffron's got that fucking cumin note, and it doesn't half smell like I've been a sweaty bastard.
You have Fahrenheit Absolute as well, have you?
I've got 2.
Don't you get cumin in that?
I don't get cumin from that at all. No, that's the first time I've heard that.
I get a really prominent note in there. I actually read the review on Fragrantica, which quoted the Smiths, and it was I can't remember which. I think it was quoting "How Soon Is Now," and it was I am cumin and I need to be loved, just like everybody else does. And as soon as I read that, I kind of would really pick it out because again, I talked to you about this before about Fragrantica being kind of shit with notes. Like we had a bit of back and forth over that other sample you sent me where it said you were saying it has no tobacco, and I was like, yeah, it does.
Yes, which one was it? It was Tobacco Rouge.
Yeah, so it was like back in 2013. I found the archived copy of the website, and like so you were saying Fragrantica didn't list the note, and so did that article at the time. But like I don't really put any faith in Fragrantica's note lists because if you look on base notes, you get conflicting information on there versus Fragrantica. So in my head, it's so abstract, the whole concept of notes and accords. Like isn't a chord a note? It's not really.
What did I read or there was something I saw or heard where they said they're only going to start putting 3 notes to a perfume now. Because that's what they reckon the average. You know how like Ted Lapida's Pour On's got like 50 notes in it, or something bonkers like that. It's got like 10 top notes and then like 10 mid notes and then 30 bass notes or something stupid. It's obviously not 50, but it's double figures.
Yeah.
There were like there was an article I read somewhere and they were like, oh, like every perfume now that's released is just going to have 3 notes or 3 accords linked to it because the average person can't pick out more than 3 at a time. And I was like, fucking just educate people, man. Just fucking, like, it's the dumbing down. I'm sure we were talking about it as well. It's the dumbing down of, like, not just, like, perfume, but, like, society as well. It's like, you get treated like idiots. But then a lot of people act like idiots.
It's a difficult thing, because, like, for example, if a fragrance has many notes, then you may not necessarily pick those out in isolation. So then you may get things like patchouli and amber when those are combined. Just totally 2 random notes, by the way. You combine those 2, which may give you may not be able to actually pick out either of them individually. So I don't know. I think notes and stuff is a really tricky one because, like, as a reviewer now, I've been doing this for 4 years, and there's times I couldn't even pick up lavender in Mosquito Pour On, which I have here. Like, it took me. I had to look at the notes to go, oh shit, that's lavender, and to make that mental association. Versus what's there, like actually putting a name to it. So it's
Yeah.
really difficult, I find.
The first time I smelled music for a while by Frederick Marl. That's right. I couldn't smell the lavender in that, and it's a lavender bomb. I couldn't pick it out. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like you get overwhelmed as well, especially when it's new, especially when a perfume's new, and it makes you feel like a bullshitter. Do you know what I mean? It makes you feel as though you're just making it up as you go along because the lasses at the shop know that I'm into perfume. And then the lass who does Frederick Marl, well, a sensational ass. She came up to us and she was like, "Oh, smell this new one. We've got a new one called Music for a While." And I was like, "Oh yes, I've heard of it. I've heard that we're releasing a new one." She was like, "Smell it," and she gave us it, and instantly pineapple. And I'm not a big fan of pineapple. I mean, I'm not as against it as I was. I mean, I used to be against it because it was in fucking Aventus, and I'm against Aventus. Aventus smells like fucking detergent on us. And she gave us it. And she was like, "What can you smell in there? It's the main note." And she was prompting us and she was pushing us and she was like, "I'm surprised you can't figure it." And I was like, "Honestly, mate, all I can smell is like the pineapple." And I was like, "I can smell some like darker sweetness behind it." She was like, "Oh, it's lavender." And as soon as she said it, sorry?
Did you actually call her mate as well?
Sometimes I do, yeah. Sometimes it comes out. Sometimes it just comes out, especially with lasses. It's really strange. I think some lasses find it quite endearing if you like, especially if they're like attractive lasses, and you call them like mate. Then it just shows that you're not being like a fucking. Yeah. You're not trying to creep on them. Do you know what I mean? Sorry.
You know, putting that pussy on a pedestal. You know, like, oh my god, you're a beautiful
woman. That's right. Yes.
You worship the ground you walk on.
Yes, that's it. Nobody wants like lasses. A lot of lasses don't want that. Like you see some lads who like creep on lasses and they're like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so this. You're so that." And some lasses just want like a bloke to come up and be like, "Oh, you get on your knees, sugar tits." It's just fucking horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like in terms of things like lavender, like. I've smelled lavender, just essential oil, you know, and you have lavender scented toilet cleaners and just various lavender things. And you think it's such like a well-known note that you kind of feel like an idiot for not picking it up, as to speak. You know, it's like, hang on, how come I didn't actually detect this? And then once you kind of realize it's there, it's then like just obvious, and you're like, how the fuck did I miss that, you know?
Yeah.
It's why I try and do first impressions videos where I smell it the first time and then do a follow-up, because like my first impressions are generally awful. And it's just like, yeah, that's good. You know, like I done it with samples you sent me. You sent me 6 samples, I think it was. And I said, I'm not going to do the follow-up to these. I'm just kind of smelling them and giving my first impressions. And it was again like, oh yeah, this is okay. This is okay. Yeah, this is nice. And then I couldn't really think of much to describe them.
Yeah. There's one of those was Bricard. Excuse me. Terrible. I think one of those was Bricard. I can't help it. The Bricard one, and you didn't like it. The Sheepra, the $1 one.
Yeah, it was like it's like it just was. There was nothing to it, you know. I felt like it was very light and eerie.
Yeah,
there's actually. I'm wearing the Pavarotti, not Pavarotti, the Leonard Poham, and that's reminding me of tobacco. So you said earlier that you like tobacco. Yeah. There's a similarity to Leonard in that, I believe. Like there's a carnation, perhaps.
The carnation, I love carnation. Carnation's probably my favorite floral. That or iris, but the iris is the same as lavender. Lavender and iris, like they're both obviously purple, but with iris, you can do so much with iris. I've got Bois d'Argent by Dior, and that's like a fresh, like clean. I'll say it smells like young money. You know, like young people who have got like money. Do you know what I mean? That's what Bois d'Argent smells like. When you've got Iris Fauve by Atelier des Ors, and I swear to Christ, it smells a bit like a mushroom, right? Yeah. It's got that sort of waxy earthiness, like do you know, like when you see a mushroom in the wild and you think, ooh, that's got a weird texture. It looks a bit like an alien. Like I look at these. I smell this Iris Fauve, and I'll send you a sample. It might be the gold flakes that are in the bottle. The fucking inverted commas gold flakes. Yeah. It's got yellow flakes in the bottle, mate. It hasn't got fucking gold flakes in the bottle.
And coffee as well. I think
sorry.
I'd be pleasant and sort of mute myself while I cough.
All right.
Oh wait, can I mute you as well?
Can you mute me as well? You can if you want.
No. When I press mute, then I thought I was muting myself, but I'm not sure if I muted you too.
I don't think you muted me. No.
Yeah. Right, cool. Just test it.
Yeah. The Iris Fauve I've got, that's definitely got a waxy vibe, sort of like it's not lipstick though. It's more sort of like a grey, not than a purple sort of like smell. Do you know what I mean? Like mushroom grey.
From what I know, like iris is quite far-reaching. Like there's all different sorts of iris, and again, there's things like orris root, which I think is the roots of orris, but that's like really expensive. So like iris is always blue, from what I remember.
Yeah, the iris rhizome is what's iris rhizome? So I saw a video of Christopher Sheldrake when he worked for
gingers.
Sorry, they look like ginger. Yeah. They do. Yeah. Because they get big, thick roots. You've got to grow them for like 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. They're not like a seasonal flower. They're like if you want the root, you've got to grow the plant for like 4 years to get the big big root stems at the bottom.
Okay.
And what they do is Chanel plant their own. This is what he was saying in this video. I'll send you a link to it. He was saying because that Chanel are vertically integrated. Everything they do is by themselves. They do their distribution. They do their distribution. They do their sales by themselves. All their boutiques are through their own. They hardly let any stock out to third party places. It's only like the main It's only like the main stuff. I'm not sure they even let number 5 out.
They are very controlling in terms of like who the distributors are. And I know, for example, they shut down perfume parlors copying like all the Bleu de Chanels and stuff because they did like a copyright infringement upon it. I'm going to cough again.
Yeah. Oh, watch him. There he goes. Look at him.
I don't have man. I haven't really talked since I went mountain biking earlier and I got back like at 5 o'clock and I haven't really spoken now for 6 hours, as you do.
As you do. That's right. Just observing a period of silence.
Yeah.
But, no, the Chanel are really like shit hot on people for like copying and selling their shit.
Yeah.
Which is like a good way of like, I suppose it's a good way of being, if you want to protect your brand, but they're very aggressive about it. There was a bloke in America who was reselling his Antaeus on, what was it, on eBay or something? It was on something because I know Super Dick made a video about it, and Chanel sued him for $55 million.
Yeah, I hear they done this to some company as well. That was like they basically were selling them, and it was like
it was crazy. It was Notino. Oh fuck! I've dropped you again. Are you still there?
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you normally.
It was Notino, and they sued Notino out of business in America. That's why Notino was in this.
So I remember there was a shitstorm over why they left America.
Yeah, it was Chanel.
But I also heard like they did it to a very small retailer, not the guy on eBay selling Antaeus, but there was a Japanese company in like a little a mall, selling Chanel's unauthorized. And again, they sued them for like millions of dollars, and the company had a turnover of like 30,000 a year. And again, they come on and hit them with this crazy lawsuit. It's mental.
Yeah, it's to scare people. It's scare tactics. It's to scare people.
I guess it sets the precedent, right? If they get the word out that that's what they do, you're a small company, you're going to come after you and fuck you in the arse regardless. Then it kind of gets all the bigger brands like, oh, well, if they're going to go after these smaller ones, then they'll come after us too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't know that about Perfume Parlor though.
Yeah, they had to take away all this stuff. I'm sure, like, Perfume Parlor is an interesting one because, I don't know, it comes back to that guy asking about clones earlier. Like, there's so many, like, I can't imagine, right, the Perfume Parlor they have, like, literally over 2,000 fragrances, I believe, right? I don't think there's a way that they are creating all those themselves. So there's definitely, like, companies out there kind of just reproduce clones and create all these oils. Nice picture, by the way. And you must be like outsourcing places, because on eBay you see loads of like these similar to Tom Ford, Oud Wood, and it's like a massive vat of like 500 mil of oil.
Yeah.
You know, like I always think in my head, is that what like Dua and Alexandria and the such do? You know, there's so many clone houses nowadays that they can't all be kind of doing this themselves. You know.
The thing is, what was I reading? Was it Dua or was it Alexandria? Right, one of them. People were complaining about the prices, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, people are complaining about the prices of Dua, and like somebody said, or somebody did a video, and they were like, "Oh, Duas are like £85 now." I was like, "Be on your fucking way!" I was like, as if they're fucking £85, man. It's fucking piss water. Fucking behave yourself.
I feel bad actually because Alexandra, like the guy who runs the UK distributor for Alexandra, he's a decent guy, you know. Like I've talked to him quite a few times, and he sent me 5 samples maybe 3 years ago. I still have them actually, and you know, obviously with the intention of doing a review, and I never got around to it. But in all honesty, they're not terrible. Like, you know, there's a similarity there to the fragrances. I basically went and chose ones I'd smelled before, so I wasn't doing blind buys on those. Not blind buys, but just blind sampling. And I thought I'll try stuff which I've tried the actual fragrance of, so I can try and get an informed opinion of whether it's similar or not. And they're okay, like in terms of, you know, one was Bracken Man by Amouage, and surprisingly it smells like it. You know, I can see why there's an appeal for it. Like, even though I don't rate clones, I don't wear them myself. I can understand the market.
Yeah, I totally understand why they exist, because fucking perfume houses take the piss with their prices.
Yeah, definitely, man.
There's fucking no chance. I totally get it. I just don't agree with clones, but I totally understand. And the blame for clone houses lies at the feet of the company themselves, of companies like YSL, of companies like Chanel, of companies like Dior. All the designer houses who price people out of their fucking luxury goods because they're complete wankers. Who are you waving at?
There's people in the comments now.
Hello.
How do you say that?
Oh, maybe we'll see the chat.
Merquanta and Isaac Dark. So, yo, how's shit going? Yeah, it's good. I have Rich Mitch on, and we're just discussing clones and the ethics and just general perfumery as well.
I'm very vigorous with me just staying, and how I keep telling people I hate clones and stuff like that. And if I'm being honest, I will always say to people clones are theft, and I will always say to people, don't buy clones, find another way to buy the perfumes you love. But at the same time, the only reason the clones exist is because of the perfume houses themselves.
Yeah,
and they created their own fucking problem, and I've got no sympathy with them. I've got very little sympathy with them. It's the perfumers. It's the perfumers I feel bad for. You get paid. Like, if you ever looked up, Ifra put out adverts for apprentice perfumers and perfumers for their things. They don't get paid that much. Like, you're talking like, for the amount of money they bring in, they get like 80 grand a year. I wouldn't mind. I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind 80 grand a year. I wouldn't mind it, right? But at the same time, you imagine if you were a perfumer and you made that perfume yourself and sold it, right? Yeah. I mean, Pierre Bourdon made Aventus and Green Irish Tweed. If he got 10% of the, I think that's how it should work. You should get, if you're a perfumer, you should get 10% of the profits or 20% of the profits. Do you know what I mean? Or it should be more equitable, but it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
As a whole, right? That's not really applicable. That's not only applicable to fragrances. You know, there's a whole outsourcing stuff, as opposed to, you know, there's the whole artist versus artistry and being commissioned to do stuff.
Yeah.
So sorry, we've had a question come in saying, what is the worst fragrance that you've ever smelled? I know my answer. It's I done a review of it and it was awful. It was almost a clone of Cool Water by Giorgio Beverly Hills, Wings for Men. Fucking terrible. It smells like a lavender, powdery, obnoxious. Blah, awful.
I would have to say Cooper Square by Bond Number 9. Max 40 fucking recommended it, and I've never forgiven him. It was absolutely, honestly, it's Bond Number 9 are a shocking house. If anybody fucking clones Bond Number 9s, we've got a madman on our hands.
I've tried one which was called, it was quite surprising. It smells vintage-ish, but sort of rough and really green. Let me see if I can find one second. I think it's called
Shea
Bond.
Bond. Shea Bond. Yeah.
It was at the event, the one.
I've tried I tried New Harlem and I thought that was okay. But I mean it's fucking, the house is shocking. I got a sample set. I got like about 7 or 8 of them. I bought a sample set of Latino and they were all fucking awful.
Yeah, I had a couple. They come in like little sweet wrapper things, don't they?
Yes, that's right, they do. Why the hell do they do that for?
I guess it's just, you know, that's stuck in my brain, you know, so it stands out to some degree as opposed to just being standard atomizers. You know, I think perfumery is such a weird one, isn't it? In terms of, I don't know, like market, you know, like all a brand has to do is come out on YouTube, you know, get a few fragrance reviewers to kind of hype them up, and bam, they probably like rake in the cash.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, I'm friendly with a perfumer who was commissioned by Dodo to make a scent, and you know, he's gone into the ins and outs of the actual distribution cost. So if you make a fragrance that retails for £100, then basically the distributor would be expected to sell it at much less.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
the distributors take all the fucking money.
Yeah, so then, you know, a fragrance that sells for £100 would be expected to be bought by a distributor for like £15.
Yeah. It's fucking scandalous, really.
Oh, an awkward position here. I got a certain somebody backstage, but I know you don't want to talk to that person.
Nah, tell me. I'll go if you like. I'm not talking to the fucking prick.
I don't want to create this. I don't know, man.
Well, don't. He's just come on for fucking drama and fucking trying to fucking poison people. He fucking ruins everything he touches. I'll gan and he can crack on. I don't want to put you in the middle neither, mate. I'll just fucking, I'll speak to you another time.
Hang on, wait, he's gone.
Oh, we fuck him.
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
I don't want to put. I'm not putting you in the middle at all. I've told them what I fucking think of them, and that's just the way it is.
I would have put myself in the middle. It would have been you on the opposing side. I would have been sort of in the middle, moderated. Nah, I'm joking, man.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's cool. So you mentioned earlier, man, about Givenchy Gentleman. Does the vintage one last on you? I've owned that fragrance like 6 times. Well, not that many times. I've bought it so many times, like, because I really like the scent. It lasts for like 4 hours, and I was unhappy with it, so I've always sold it on afterwards. I even had like a very version which was like tall, instead of like, you know, the bottle with the wraparound logo. The older ones were like really tall, and just never lasted for a long time on me.
It lasts for a decent. The new one I get a couple of hours of push out of it as well. But the old one, the one with the wraparound logo, it's absolutely massive on me.
Yeah.
For about 3 hours it pushes, and then for the rest of it, in fact, it's a bit headache. It's not headache inducing, but it gets as dry at the back of my throat. It's like that. I think it's very dry at the top. It's very dry at the top, and it makes us like. Do you know what I mean? I get a bit dry.
I gotcha.
I'm not interested. It's I only wear it sporadically. I wear it usually during the autumn and the spring. I think it's a bit. It's got that Italian. Do you not think it smells a bit like Pavarotti?
I would just smell my hand as if I'm wearing that. I don't know. When I tried Pavarotti that you sent, I couldn't pick out the honey in there. So when I looked at the notes afterwards, because I don't know. I remember when I smelled Pavarotti, I said it smells familiar, but I couldn't really place on it. I couldn't place where it came from. But I think I said there was a Kouros-esque vibe to it, which could be honey and stuff. But yeah, the problem I have is I think when I smell a fragrance for the first time, I can't help but instantly I think, what does this smell like? And I kind of always mentally compare it to other stuff, and I just can't shake that.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'll tell you what else they do as well. Perfumers will get what we would call a DNA.
Yeah,
and they'll take it. Say Annick Minato. Annick Minato made Bois d'Argent, and no, Annick Minato, that was Natalie Lawson.
Yeah.
I think Monado made Bois d'Argent and Body Chorus within a year of each other. And I smell them two perfumes, and I can smell they're very, very similar. To me, there's definitely like a light, creamy vibe that goes through it. And I don't know whether that's like an author's got a writing style and a perfumer's got a perfumer's got a perfume style. I think that Body Chorus and Bois d'Argent are very similar. And I think what they do is a perfumer will make a perfume a DNA, and then they will just tweak it slightly and sell it to a different company or give it to a different company and say, do you like that? That'll be your thing. And that's where you get like the creation of like eras from. Do you know, like Chorus kicked off a massive era of like powerhouse kings, right? Because Pierre Bourdon obviously created Chorus.
That word around here is blasphemy. I'm joking.
What?
There was a fragrance group called Powerhouse Kings, which spawned off all this drama around me. I'm only joking, sorry. Okay,
all right. No, the all these powerhouse fucking fragrances in the 80s, and like Aventus obviously did the same by the same perfumer in 2010. Erwin Creed claims that he fucking perfumed it, and he fucking did not. Erwin Creed has never never perfumed a perfume in his life.
David Kravis or Kravis. Sorry, I'm just shouting out the comments. You can carry on.
So no, I was just gonna say, like, what you'll find is that one perfumer will create like a DNA, and then they'll tweak it and sell it to different houses. And what other people will do is they'll jump on it, but they'll put their own tweak on it. Yeah, so it's like revolution followed by evolution, and then what we're doing at the minute is we're just waiting for the next. We're not waiting for the next revolution.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like a Bleu de Chanel, you know, that kind of came out and then kickstarted.
Yeah.
You know, like lots of stuff. Like Sauvage was the natural response from back to Chanel's Bleu de Chanel. You know, the whole blue kind of themed fragrance. You know, even down to the bottle and stuff. But I do wonder, like, in terms of, you say that the perfumer will have their own base. But is it the case of, as you say, the perfumer will sell that to wherever? But isn't it the case of, so is it the case of like Dior? Okay, Dior is a bad example. All right, forget that Dior has their own in-house perfumer. Like, it was a case of them going to like Viefra or Givaudan, or, you know, the big form.
Yeah.
And then they would commission the perfumer, as opposed to it being like the other way around. You know, would it be like, I'm not sure who's the actual one who would contract that out in that case.
What happens is the houses say that, well, what used to happen is that all the fashion houses used to be independent, and they would all have their own factories, right? And then what they would do is they would go to like one of these companies, and they would say, right, we want to create a perfume, and they would give a brief to that company, who would then go to a perfumer, and they would say, right, this is the brief, you create a perfume, or you create a few different perfumes, and then they would take the different perfumes and send them back to the fucking independent fashion house, and the fashion houses would pick one that they really liked. So in the case of Chorus, Yves Saint Laurent, the man himself, would have gone to Givaudan, or whoever was employing Pierre Bourdon at the time, and said, Pierre Bourdon, create this we've been contacted by Yves Saint Laurent, who is a major fashion house, you've heard of him. We want you to make the perfume for him. Here's the thing. Here's some pictures. Here's like a written brief of what he wants. Draw up a perfume, and Pierre Bourdon, being the fucking genius that he is fucking turned around, because he did Green Irish Tweed as well, man. He had he's had a pretty outrageous career, Pierre Bourdon. Yeah. As far as being a perfumer is concerned, some of the fucking hits he's got are absolutely brilliant. He did French Lover as well, I think, by Mal. So Pierre Bourdon's been, and what Pierre Bourdon would have done is he would have created Chorus but made like a few different versions of Koros, and then he would have made like a couple of other perfumes as well, and maybe he made because he made Cool Water as well. Maybe he made like
the base thing, isn't it? He had the base from Greenhouse Tree,
yeah,
and then evolution from that.
There's a lot of play to the idea as well that, you know, captive molecules. Do you know that captive molecule? Do you know that captive molecule that is in a Green Irish Tweed and Cool Water, and it's identical. You know the smell. You know that smell that joins the pair of them. They could have, like, Davidoff and Creed could have used the same company, and that company could have created that captive molecule and told Pierre Bourdon, we need to use that captive molecule because we've invested a lot of money in creating that captive molecule, and we know it sells and people like it, so use the fucking thing and fucking make a lot of money. And he's obviously done it, and he's just put a little spin on it.
Because there's whole things about things like, well, for example, ambroxan, you know, that's like a trademark thing that Givaudan, I can't pronounce, you know, the big fashion house, the big fragrance houses, they create, you know, they have scientists who they create this stuff like all the norimbanol or whatever you call it.
And ethyl malthol and stuff like that. Like,
so it's all like
whoever
created. Because I met this guy who basically works for a big fragrance firm, or, you know, because it's all not just fragrances, but it's also things like laundry and any kind of, you know,
but doing international fragrance and flavors. IFF that do international fragrance.
So I met a guy who basically works as a taste person. You know, he creates synthetic counterparts to do like beef, you know, flavors of beef for things like noodles and stuff like that. So
it's like what do they call it? It's not a cosmetic chemist. It's a it's something along those lines.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to sort of see that was his line of work, and obviously that crosses over into scents and stuff in terms of, like, you know, you don't even think about it, but when you have like a pot noodle, a really cheap sort of £1 meal, you know, they have all this research that goes into when you pour the water into it, how that smells and tries to replicate real beef and things like that, which is, it's mental. You know, even stuff like cheap fucking Aldi. Well, for example, I had this toilet cleaner. It smelled like Cool Water. I couldn't use it anymore. Actually, I stopped using it, and I sold my bottle of Cool Water because I was like, "Fuck, I can't use this anymore. It's ruined it for me. Absolutely ruined it for me." You know?
Disaster.
Oh, the worst thing that can happen now is I buy a pine one. I think, oh, this smells like polo, and then sell all my polos. That would be
no. Devastating. I'd rather wash my bog with polo than fucking use a polo scent and ruin it. Do you know what I mean? It's just a piss take. It's just a piss take, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If there's pine, if your fucking bog fucking cleaner smells like fucking Cool Water, how come you can't get it at the same fucking price? Alcohol doesn't cost that. Like, perfumers, alcohol doesn't cost that much. It's just marketing.
You just got to show you the name, you know, the fact you're paying for Davidoff, you know, just an established brand. Like I think something like Sauvage has had the biggest advertising campaign behind it. I think Sauvage has gone down as like one of the most successful fragrances in the past 10 years in terms of sales. So you think, like, how much do they have to pay Johnny Depp to be the face of that? Like millions, right?
Yeah, because I think the first instance it was $5 million.
Wow. So, like, you know, what kind of markup do they need to put on every bottle in order to sort of start just to basically break even from the advertising point of view?
Yeah. And how much research went into them knowing that Sauvage was gonna sell? Do you know what I mean? They must have taken the ambroxan molecule up to like focus groups and being like, "What do you think of this?" And there must have been the women as well, because obviously, because like they say, Aventus is a boxer dropper. Do you know what I mean? Because more men like Aventus than women do. This is like the urban legend that floats around the fragrance like reviews, because I know you don't watch many, but a lot of. There's a lot of like blokes who review fucking Aventus and a lot of women who review Aventus, and the general like a consensus has formed that more men like Aventus than women do, or men who like Aventus like it more than the women who like Aventus. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, but it's like the women like the Sauvage because it smells like, I'll tell you what it smells. It's a scent memory. It smells like shower gel, and it smells like a bloke who's just had a shower, and it smells clean. And it's like the Italians. It's like the Italian ethos. It's always a man who smells clean is attractive. Do you know what I mean? It goes back to it goes back thousands of years. That you look at the Roman baths, they always used to keep themselves clean and washed and stuff like that because that's what they see as attractive. I'm going to go to the toilet, mate, so I'm going to mute my mic.
I'm not to myself in terms of like, huh?
I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to the toilet, but I am listening.
All right, noise. Yeah, like I was, I cycled home the other day, and I thought I was cycling behind a colleague. We kind of cycled together, and I didn't notice, but there was a noticeable smell coming off him. And I thought, oh, he smells clean. I've actually noticed this when I'm out biking. There's something about being out mountain biking where you're in the open air. I think other people's scents become a bit more apparent, and often I smell other people, and I know that people don't wear fragrance much, but they can just smell clean, and it's always like, isn't a pleasing scent to kind of not have an aroma of fragrance per se, but just this general cleanness. So I think things like this Prada L'Homme is kind of, soapy scents, they are praised as being quite good for that regard. But yeah, I'm of the other sort, I take, well, me and you, Rich, we just smell these crazy vintage stuff which have a very obvious fragrancy smell to it. Like, I don't think people would smell Kouros and think he smells clean. Although Kouros is known as this like perfect juxtaposition between like clean and dirty. But like in my head, Kouros doesn't smell soapy. It doesn't smell like showered. Yeah, I say that. It's a really weird one, Kouros is, because, yeah, like I said, juxtaposition to the core. For example, I've got a colleague in work. I'm just talking to myself at this point. I have a colleague in work who's been regularly complimenting me on my fragrances, which is really weird because it's nothing that anybody does often. And I've been cycling to work recently, and I've been taking fragrance with me. So as opposed to me spraying in my house and then leaving for work, I cycle to work and then spray in the office. So people are now smelling the top notes upon me as opposed to sort of a fragrance which had been sitting on my skin for 30 minutes. And yeah, this guy, I sprayed Italian cypress, and I kind of walked up to him. I expect now he compliments me all the time, so I go up and be like, yeah, have a whiff of this, motherfucker. And he went crazy. He was like, whoa, Sproaty, that smells amazing. Like, what? He was like, dude, if I was gay, I'd want to be inside you.
I heard that.
And yeah, just obviously there's a different reaction from men, but and then I told him how much it cost, and he was like, oh, maybe not now. Because apparently Italian cypress is £280 for 50 ml. I paid I swapped it for Kinski actually, which wasn't that expensive. But yeah, also it's been discontinued again. From what I remember, Italian cypress got brought back. But
yeah, it did, yeah.
I think it might be only in Paris. Like you have to go. Honestly, I was trying to sell Italian cypress for like 80 quid on eBay a while ago. I have like a 40 ml bottle. Well, it's much less now. I had pretty much a full bottle. It was discontinued at the time, so the prices were inflated. I wanted like 85 quid on eBay, which is, I thought it was a really good price. I had it on for 2 months. And then one time I just sprayed it. I was like, oh, I actually really like this now. And I thought, I'm going to keep it. And I'm kind of glad that I did.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I feel the same. I said to you, like, there's I sprayed on Jules by Dior yesterday, and I know my one's a bit fucked. But he was like, oh, it smells soapy. I don't really like that. So, like, in terms of, like, the clean scent, it was odd that this guy didn't like a soapy scent, which would be kind of equated to being quite clean. And then things like Italian cypress, which was much more green and, a woodier scent.
Fragrances go through like great fragrances come and go in fashion as well. Like fashion has cycles. Yeah. I think perfume has cycles as well. Perfume has like
Sauvage being worn 10 years from now or 15 years from now, is it going to hold up?
Yeah, exactly. People are already complaining about it being reformulated. Like the Sauvage Bros, the Sausage Bros. They've been complaining about the Eau de Toilette and the Bleu de Chanel Bros as well. They've been complaining about Bleu de Chanel being reformulated. I've only got one
because they brought out the EDP, then they brought out the Parfum. So it kind of makes sense that they'd have to alter the original one as a reason to like justify this new one. For the Chanel now. Like I know Dior have the EDP for Sauvage. I've never actually smelled the EDP. I don't want to. I don't go out my way to smell new fragrances. I just have very little interest in testing new ones. You know, I think I said in a previous video, I'm happy to test new old scents. Like, I don't really have an interest in buying samples and seeking things out. I've told you many times, I can't be bothered buying new scents. I've been buying loads of backup bottles, but I'm just like happy with my collection. I don't want to own, the more fragrances I buy, it feels like I'm adding more competition to what I have. You know, like I have like about 70 fragrances. If I buy another one, that means I have 71. So I have to like decide to wear that new one now as opposed to something else.
Yeah.
Like I find it's like you're taking on more work. Yeah.
And you're not getting anything back for it. It's like, do you really need this fragrance? Is this going to make you feel more complete? Is this going to make you feel like I'm coming around? I'm certainly like shifting around to like what your position is at the minute is in getting more of what I've already got and making sure that I'm not going to run out of it. Like
Which
and stuff that like
because we never will. I mean, I've used up one bottle of Kouros. I have several, to say the least.
Yeah,
there's no chance in hell I'm going to go through these, but it's a case of it will become rarer to get, and especially to have the older ones. So it's going to be good to be stocked up in that regard.
The thing is, as well, is that you won't lose money on those. You will not lose money on those unless they're made illegal for some reason. Do you know what I mean? And even then, even if they're made illegal, mate, you probably even double your money then. I mean, because you know what people are like when stuff's prohibited. You know what I mean?
Well, like with eBay, you can't actually list fragrances as used anymore. There's only two choices. There's new and new other. If you look on eBay, you'll never see anything listed as used. And
shit!
Yeah, they've basically made it illegal now on eBay to sell used fragrances, so people have to like sidestep the rules.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Excuse me, it's ridiculous. It's because that's like part of like today I bought it. I'll tell you what else as well. There's something about eBay.
You bought something else again today, then? Surprise, surprise.
Oh yeah, of course I bought something else today. I'm a fucking stupid man. I got another vintage bottle of Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. I'm a bit obsessed with Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, the vintages at the minute. It's a bit like I'm going a bit like Sproaty Kouros-y. I'm going it is. What was it? I wanted to buy 3 perfumes off one person yesterday, right? And what I had to do is I had to pay shipping for each one. I ended up sending them my email because what they said was, look, like we'll refund you the shipping on 2 of them and send them all in one box. But like there's no feature on eBay to do that.
You can do a partial refund on an individual item, so they could price drop the one. But yeah, it's really awkward. Like I think if you do buy it now, you have to commit to buying them all at the same time. Whereas if you do it as winning the auction, you can request an invoice and they can then subtract the postage off the whole.
Yeah, package. Exactly. Yeah, but it's got to be an auction. So I'm talking to these people in Italy, right, to get these bottles, to get this bottle of fucking Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, because apparently the Italians have got fucking loads of bottles, like not just Paco Rabanne, but a lot of I got an M7 Fresh yesterday. You know, you sent us a sample.
You told me it wasn't worth the money.
Well, no, I said it wasn't worth. I mean, I went on the list and then they wanted like $150 for it, wow. And I thought it was pounds. With the fucking dollar against the pound at the minute, like you're doing rather well at the minute. Yeah, I got it. It was like £111.
Oh wow!
And I thought for just. Yeah, I thought it's 111 quid. I thought that's 111 quid for a 100ml bottle of M7 Fresh, which is rare as hen's teeth and will only get rarer.
Well, I saw a bottle of that sell for 45 quid not too long ago. So,
oh, you bastard! Where were you? Oh,
I didn't buy it. I thought, I have a bottle. It's not like one that I need backups of. It's just like I leave it go. I'm happy to just. I did think, I could have bought that and maybe sold it for like 100 quid myself, but
yeah.
The world, is it?
I got the M7 Fresh, and that was a lorry door. That was 111. I got, what else did I got? I got a bottle of Paco Rabanne, but it had the metal plate on the front, and that's the original 73 to 82 run. So I've got a fucking full one of those. I can't remember how much that was, but it's like 100 ml, and it's 90 ml, and it's a sprayer. and it's not the deodorant sprayer either. Those fucking deodorant sprayers are disastrous.
Is that
You
what
know
the
the ones?
Eau Sauvage is?
No, the Eau Sauvage, thank God, is a fucking natural vaporizer, which is just a sprayer. The
natural ones are the ones that kind of you press it once and it's like a weird spray, right? I had a Dracan Noir like that. It was really weird.
The deodorant ones are a fucking nightmare. Like the ones with compressed gas in.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah.
You remember you sold me
Gucci,
you sold me the Gucci and the Monsieur de Givenchy. The Monsieur de Givenchy has like the compressed gas, but I didn't know this. I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
I never had any idea. This was how vintage it is because they don't make them anymore. And I fucking went to spray it once and it just kept spraying. I thought I'd broken it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And like I took my finger off and I was like, oh wow, that's amazing.
There's a clone house called Milton Lloyd and they have exactly the same thing. It's like a deodorant you can just literally except it's a fucking EDT, so you can put on like equivalent of 60 sprays just in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I remember literally it's a 50ml bottle. You could just hold it down and you just see the level decrease like that. I was mental.
It's fucking bonkers.
In terms of like consumption and buying fragrances, so like today you showed me the pictures of you bought 3 fragrances. Like now that you have those, right. Do you feel any better that you have those? You know, is it like the moment?
I feel. I'll tell you what it is. I feel safer. It's a sort of so with Amen. I've never I love Amen. Amen is like one of my favorite fragrances. It's not like Koros to you, but it's up there for me. I've got a few like what you've got of like Koros, things that I feel I need backups for. But I've got like 4 bottles of Amen because I know the transition from Thierry Mugler to Mugler has been a disaster for the formulations because it wasn't that long ago, no. But the Thierry Mugler bottles are disappearing. So I got a bottle of Amen from 2003, and fuck me, it's fucking potent. I got a vintage, so I'm glad I've got them because I know I'll wear hundreds of milliliters of that juice. Do you know what I mean? And I want as good a like formulation as I can get. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stuck with like shit formulations.
Like when I was excessively buying fragrances, I always found it was the thrill of the chase, you know, like the actual act of finding it, buying it, waiting. It was like, ooh, can't wait for it to come. And then just like not being disappointed, but then like unwrapping the package from like the postman, you know, being like, okay, spray it on your hand, smell it, and then put it on the shelf. And then like it's the act of putting it on the shelf.
The next one.
Yeah, it's like that's it. Then the whole thrill is gone. And once I kind of realized I was doing that always, I was like, I had to do a bit of a self-assessment in terms of like, well, why am I doing this, and what do I get from this? And that's why I mentioned it, like everything I was buying felt like it was adding more to the. Like I had loads of fragrances then, so it felt like the more I bought, the more choice that I had, which meant that the stuff I really liked I wasn't wearing. So I done a video tracking, like I said, you know, my top 10 most worn fragrances. So I done a thing now where I use based on to track what I wear, and I would just basically wear stuff based upon when I last wore it. So I'd basically just rotate through my entire collection over 2 months, and then I got fed up of using that. I just thought I want to smell stuff based upon what I want to smell that day, as opposed to like letting statistics determine what I should wear.
Yeah,
which is probably a weird way of working, but that's my nerdy, strange computer brain guy.
It's easy to fall into that trap. I think there is like a thread that joins all perfume collectors, like that. We're not like yeah. I was trying to find a nicer way of putting it, but no, there's some form of OCD that definitely runs throughout us. We're like collectors, but like with perfume for some reason. Like I was talking to somebody else yesterday in the com about how like collecting perfume is like why perfume? What's so different about perfume that makes us all behave the way we behave, but I think it's that we behave the way. I think it's that what it is that we're all like that, but we've all like found each other through perfume. So I don't think it's perfume that makes us like that. I think we're all like that, and then we're all into perfume, and we've found a sense of community with each other. You know what I mean? Is that Stefan causing bother in the comments?
Yeah, you can see it now. I thought you couldn't see the comments.
Yeah, I can see them now. Yeah, it's ever since I changed my picture.
But yeah, I'm not sure. Like in terms of, I don't know. Like I have a channel, but I'm very selfish in terms of fragrance. Like I don't watch fragrance videos. I don't really comment on other people. So I don't really consider myself really as part of the fragrance community. I kind of do my own thing. In fact, I'm on the outside. I'm sort of like poking everyone because a lot of people probably they don't even realize it, but a lot of my videos are in jest. Like I've started doing the thumbnails now where I fucking do a stupid outline over my face. And people probably think I'm serious, but I'm actually trying to take the piss, but people just don't realize it. And like I make a point of just doing stupid thumbnails. And again, you know, I try and sort of mock, to so to speak, you know.
Yeah.
I done this one video.
I think you're quite dry. I think you're quite dry. And I think as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially since like the amount of people who watch from like America, they're not a dry country. Like as far as humor, like I used to think like the whole thing, you know, like the thing where people used to talk about British humor and how British humor was strange and different. I used to think that was bollocks because I'd only ever experienced British humor. But the more I see of the world, the more I get to see like other people in the world. I realize in this country we are a bit strange. And I'm glad I'm from here. But like I can tell that you're taking the piss, but I can also see how people from the outside wouldn't know that. Do you know what I mean? It's because we're dry.
I done the thing at the end of the video. I said, "Don't subscribe, don't like, something else. Fuck you." I had to make a point of doing a really big smile because I think if I didn't do that, it wouldn't come across.
Yes, people would have taken it. Yeah. People wouldn't have been able to see it.
I also meant it to some degree, but
I know. There's many a true thing said in jest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you see that the other day? The second person who got the coronavirus, jab. Do you know what he was called?
No, I'm sorry.
I swear to God, right? He was called William Shakespeare.
Okay.
The second person who got the coronavirus jab. The first was that old woman called Margaret, and the second person was a 60-odd-year-old bloke called William Shakespeare.
The thing is, right? I've seen people with strange names, and you think, would parents actually go out of the way to name the kid that? You know, you kind of knowing that you're, like, for example, like Hitler. You know, if somebody had a surname of Hitler, would anybody in their right mind call their kid Adolf? Or is it like
honestly, right?
You know,
there's a politician. There's a politician in Africa. There's a politician in Africa who has just been elected to like a local position, and I swear he was named after Adolf Hitler. If you put it into Google, Africa Adolf Hitler, you will see there is a man who has just been elected to some sort of, it's either like a mayor or like a Congress seat or something.
That's right.
The black Adolf Hitler, absolutely mental. There's also a man in India, an atheist leader called Stalin. So there you go. People are just stupid, man.
We see that you have no concept, right? I mean, it's possible that somebody hasn't heard of Adolf Hitler. You know, very possible. So it's just like over time, you know, the names like so. Sorry, in the example of William Shakespeare being like, were you trying to say that's a fake name, as in the person who's received that, or just again, were their parents taking the piss? You know.
I know that's honestly, I swear, I went to school with a kid called Wayne Kerr. Right, he's called Wayne. He's called Wayne Kerr. Right, and on his 18th birthday, he changed his name to James.
Oh wow!
Right, there's another belter as well. I had another mate who went to a private school, and he went to school with a kid called Drew Peacock.
There's got to be a Mike Hunt out there, right? You know, it's that classical name, like.
No, there will be a Mike Hunt out there. There has to be a Mike
there'll be a
Hunt.
Mike Hunt for sure, like, and you know, the parents would never refute that joke. Or Dwayne Pipe, you know, stuff like that.
Yes.
Crispy chicken.
As JJ being a rascal. As fucking no, it's really strange. There are fucking there's just parents are just
Stephen Sprout. I mean, that's a
Stephen Sprout.
Mate, I used to fucking hate my sim as a kid. Right, I was Sprout, and I hated it. But now I love my surname. The fact I can just put it to so many words. You got Sprotato, Sproaty, and Sprotivation. I can just fit it into anything that has that oat sound. You know, it's just I like it now. You know, it's this shitty little pun.
Yeah, there's I used to hate my name Richard when I was a kid, but no one ever called us Dick, strangely enough. But then I was always bigger than everyone else. Not to make face anyway. But no, I quite like my name now. It's my name, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's your fucking name.
There's a thing actually that the sound of your own name is one of the most pleasant sounds you can hear.
Yes, it depends how it's said. My mom's got a way of saying it. Like your parents.
You say mom.
Yeah, mom. Because I'm from up north.
We have somebody coming in. I'm not sure who this is. We have a humongous. Yeah, I say mum too, man. I hate the word mum. It does my head in. Yeah, I hear the word mum, right? Like, I can just hear like a little English girl going, oh, mummy, my tummy's hurting. Mum. Yo, humongous, who are you? And welcome.
Sorry, I was laughing, man.
That's Jad.
It's Jad.
Hello, Jad.
I didn't actually, yeah, of course. I didn't actually recognize the voice instantly then.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
I'm doing fine, man. I just heard you talking about absurd names, and I just said, let's fucking go on as humongous.
Humongous? There was a wrestler called...
Okay.
It's like wrestlers always come up with like outrageous names and stuff like that, don't they? Do you know what I mean? There's loads of outrageous names in wrestling. Like Steve Austin. Steve Austin was the fucking $1 million man, wasn't he? No, he was the $60,000 man. Something, or the Bio man. Oh God, who was Steve Austin? Steve Austin was like a TV character, man.
Okay, the one that Stone Cold modeled his name after, you mean?
Yeah, because Stone Cold's not called Steve Austin. He's called fucking Steve Williams or something like that.
Okay. We got Meriquanta, I think I should say it in the chat, is saying he wonders if the name of Bart Simpson called in the pubs actually exists. Actually, there was this was based on something the Bart Simpson calls. I can't remember the exact history behind it, but yeah, there was like people who made similar calls, and oh God, that sounds like such a shit story now I've said it. Yeah, it was based on some real events.
Fucking constant fucking thing. You think you would have caught it by now?
Yeah, you pissed it.
No, sir.
I'm pouring water. I'm pouring water.
I mean, liquid is being moved, so.
I'm gonna do the same for you.
Tasty.
Yeah, you always got your mind.
Just how you do.
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing great.
I'm happy to
I was just gonna say, like, Steven always has some sort of urine on his mind. Either it's perfume or.
Oh, I've got such a fucking bad fucking face.
Such a bad face?
I've got a bad face. I'm so dry at the back of my fucking throat. It's unbelievable.
Thirst. I just said you had a bad face then. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Super fat bass is here. Super fat bass.
It's Irish Kevin.
Irish Kevin.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So basically, all the people from Channel 9 reformulations have popped over here. You've actually...
You should. You could do it on both.
I've got access to that channel. I thought I'd stream on my own one because...
Yes,
I don't know. I've only done a couple of streams before.
Yeah.
So, Jared, man, what's going on? What's new with you, man?
What's new with me? I kind of lost my appetite for fragrances, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, you don't wear them, or you just stop buying.
Stop buying. I feel as if I have satisfaction in my collection.
Boom.
That must be. Yes,
maybe it's a phase. Who knows?
No, it's good to be content, you know. I think.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rich? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Rich went quite quiet then. I think.
Yeah, I know. I just muted myself. I had to like blow my nose a little bit. If you feel contented, it's your money and it's your collection and it's your life and it's your nose. Then don't push yourself into doing something you don't want to do. If you feel contented, because we've had this conversation before, Jad. You said to me a while ago you feel contented with your collection. It's a good place to be in.
I agree with that. I feel like that's where I'm at now. You know?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a sort of enlightenment that I've reached a sort of enlightenment in our community because everybody's constantly searching.
Yeah.
Always.
It's like Sproaty was saying. Yeah, it's like Sproaty was saying before. The thrill of the chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely an aspect of like the hunt, the search, the look, the not predatory behavior. There's not a nonce. It's like the fucking. It's like that. Like trying to get an edge or trying to get. I was talking about this on Eugene's stream. There's definitely an air of exclusivity about some fragrances. You feel like you've got something nobody else has got. Do you know what I mean? And part of that for me is like the vintage sort of thing.
What I will say in that though, there's something in base notes, right? So I do sometimes read base notes forums. Somebody has this in his signature which says, "Scarcity is an illusion. Forget about it." And I can see that. So, for example, Kouros Freischer, however you say it, you know, that's considered quite rare. I've seen that on eBay loads, you know. So I think this exclusivity is there to some degree, but also not. Like, I mean, I've accumulated tons of vintage fragrance of vintage Kouros alone, you know. So that's just me as one person. Like, you know, if you kind of look at the greater picture of that, as in multiple people buying multiple bottles, you know, it's not such a. I mean. For mass-produced fragrances, there was thousands, millions of these bottles made, likely, you know?
Yeah. You've got to remember how popular a certain fragrance was as well.
Yeah.
There's there's also everything's relative. Like to Jad, with the fact that he's in Saudi Arabia, right? Vintage Kouros to him is as rare as hen's teeth. Because you can't get vintage Kouros in Saudi Arabia. It's just not available to him. But to me and Sproaty, vintage Kouros is something that might pop up once, twice a week. Do you know what I mean? Or once, twice a month, where we might be able to get it. And whether we actually buy it or not, it's a different matter. But again, for fucking Jad knows more about oud. And Jad, I don't think you collect oud, do you?
No, I have like 3 or 4. And it's only like Western take on oud, not even Middle Eastern.
Do you have any oud chips and stuff like that?
Yeah, of course, it's in my home. My mom uses it.
Yeah, exactly. For you, it's part of your culture. It's like an everyday sort of thing to you. That I don't know what Sproaty's doing. Oh yes, he's showing what he's been oud chip. He didn't send us any oud chips the last time I spoke to him either.
Wait, no,
he's just broken it.
Rich, they're not oud chips. They're oud crisps.
Oh, stop that, Jad. He's going to cause an incident. I was arguing with somebody the other day as well. Actually, I think it was Eugene. I was like, he was like, "You're eating chips." I was like, "I'm not. I'm eating crisps." He was like, "No, that's chips." You guys see me?
I just cut my own screen off.
What you done?
I think I just pulled the wire or something. My monitor turned off.
Oh, I can see you now.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Oh, the camera is working, but you can't see anything.
Yeah, just turn my monitor off. 1 sec.
No, don't do that.
That's okay.
He's been throwing wood crisps at the screen, turning it off. He's got me saying crisps now. Chips.
That's annoying.
It's annoying. I was like, no, mate. I was like, I'm definitely eating crisps. It says crisps on the packet and all sorts. But it's definitely crisps, mate.
I've very put the wire out.
My lord, man, you
Of
guys
course.
are
Fucking
the
power
right
cable.
kind of funny.
I'm the what kind of funny? The weird kind of funny.
No, you're the right kind of funny.
I'm a rubber duck. No, you can't help but have fun with a big rubber duck.
He's a double rock.
I'm a double rock. That's right. I'm a double rock.
I always like
double
the
rock.
spoonerisms, you know, just flipping the first words to the first
Yeah,
letters of two words
yeah.
down.
Oh my goodness me! I've got a pain in my
Mucungus.
arse. Mucungus. It doesn't work with Stephen Sproaty, does it? Stephen
Well, I think with
Stroke.
that, you'd have to do like Stephen Stroat.
Yeah, Stephen Stroke. You'd have to go down. You'd have to move down one notch.
Yeah. My favorite was I done this by accident. Me and my friend used to do this, and like back in the day, we used to smoke weed, and I think I was going to light the joint or something, and he said, I said to him, "Can I have a lurking whiter?" And like people probably don't know what a whiter is, you know, but it's this thing where you kind of smoke too much and you get like really like bit sort of sick feeling and really off it.
Yeah, whitey. Yeah. I know what a whitey is.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe in the chat, maybe it's a British thing. But it was just it's a really perfect one, you know. As in, give me this working lighter. It's a lurking whiter, really.
Give me this lurking whiter.
Yeah,
honestly, there was one time when I was like 13 or 14. It was one of the first times I smoked weed. Somebody absolutely stitched us with a fucking massive bucket, and I was like, "Do you know what a bucket is, Sproaty?"
Of course.
A massive,
3 litre Strongbow box.
yes. Any 2 litre bottom half and a 1 litre top off, or even a 3 litre bottom half and a 2 litre top off. And what I smoke, it's just a very quick and efficient way of getting stoned, and use a little bit and you get very stoned. So this was one of my first times, and I was absolutely wrecked. And they'd stitched this other kid as well, right? And honestly, we were both on a whitey, right? And there was about 15 of us stood around, and this kid whiteyed. And obviously, when you see someone whitey, it sets you up as well. So he whiteyed, and I saw him, and I whiteyed as well. And it must have been one of the funniest things people had seen, because they still talked about it about 3 years later.
It's like a contagious yawn, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, the worst one is that I think the person could be whiting totally unaware of it, and until you say to them, "Dude, you're looking a bit like, you look a bit white," and then bam, that sets them off, and they fuck.
Yeah, it's power of suggestion, isn't it? Oh, hey.
So guys,
many a white
JJ British then? Do you guys know?
Sorry?
Is JJ British?
JJ's for Cockney.
Cool. Oh, wait, he's living in America, right?
Yeah, living in America.
I'm really bad at sort of mentally remembering who's who and their backgrounds.
It's all right. You get used to it. It's all right.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
As the host, I should know all this now.
That's right. You're a host. You're the hostess with the mostest. Oh, good God.
Mostest, of course.
I should know all this now.
Oh.
So everyone's wrecked now at this point. I think all the talking is kind of cockney.
I'm going to go to bed in a minute, so I'm going to leave you. Well, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to sleep. Jad, don't leave. He needs someone to bounce off. He needs somebody to talk to. That came out a bit wrong.
Yeah, Jad's a good guy.
I won't be guilted into staying here. I have to go to work.
Yeah.
He's starting work now. Don't go to work. Stay with him. Oh my God! Somebody's got Tamara and Terence Hughes.
Wait,
oh my God! Super fat bastard's got Tamara and Terence Hughes.
Yo, this man has said that he's trying to push like some kind of law to make other perfume brands to list the amount of oud they're using.
Yeah, he has. Because he got embarrassed by Fragrance du Bois, didn't he? His mouth was always going to get him. He was always just like, no humility. Like he's not the type of person who can give an inch at all because he feels he's got such a big ego.
I'm pretty sure that guy's from Cardiff, man. I'm kind of embarrassed to be from the same country as him.
Is he?
I'm sure, right, there's an article on like the Daily Mail or the Sun about like Britain's vainest man. And he talks about how he's had like all these facelifts and all these surgeries done.
Oh,
so
Christ, was that Aaron Terrence Hughes?
Pretty sure it was him.
Oh, that's right. Of course it is now you said that.
That's the guy.
I'm okay. I'll pass on the offer of buying these. But hey, I want to say, Rich, you'd appreciate this. So I done like a first impression video of this Moschino Pro Homme.
I do appreciate this, yes.
And I bought another one. So I foolishly saw on eBay for like an auction. I was like, oh, cool. I bought it for like 30 quid or so. Turns out, so they sent it to me. They described it as an EDT spray. Sent it to me. It's a fucking splash. No spray.
Bastards.
Even says here, like I can't see it in the camera. It says aftershave. So when I looked at the listing again, it turns out the person had used the pictures of the auction which I won like at the start of the month. They basically took somebody else's photos and put that as the actual their photos, and I didn't clock on that it was theirs. So to be honest, I'm actually surprised they sent me like the aftershave version. So I've now got a fucking open return with eBay about like, you know, they described it as a spray, they had photos of it, and now what they sent me doesn't actually match. And then I looked again, I was like, hang on, the person just like screenshotted the auction from previously, which I happened to win, and I was like, you fucking bastards! Like,
oh my god.
It's mental. I think an idiot's not clocking on in the first place, to be honest.
It's like 6 degrees of separation. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen that film with Will Smith?
No, is it called that? Is it?
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation. It's really good. It's one of his early films in like 1990s. He plays like a con man. It's really good, really interesting. Not the type of thing when you consider he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at the time. He took a massive risk taking that film on, and he was really good in it. I highly recommend it to people. But I must go. I'll keep watching until I fall asleep, mate. So you might see it in the comment.
Yeah, it won't be long because I'm gonna be leaving.
Don't be late.
That's all right. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I was coming on here hoping that people would come on and sort of talk, because I was just fucking, like I said, the Sproaty shit show. I had nothing to say really. It was just going to be through the moment and just see where it goes, like, which is cool. No, I had no plan for this.
No, it's nice to talk to you. Keep going.
Maybe somebody else will.
Get JJ on. JJ will come on. A super fab boss. Well, fucking anything.
JJ prefers to be like the only guest.
How many people are watching?
8 people, which has been quite constant. It's been like between 6 to 8 all along. So there's been people dropping off and coming back on, but there's been quite a few people. Well, no, a couple of people sort of commenting here and there. Like there's been people who come on, ask one question, and then nothing further.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's funny. Like I have like 1,200 subscribers, but yeah, like I don't really care about popularity on YouTube. You know, I do my videos knowing fully well they don't get many views, but that doesn't deter me.
You do it for the love of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know you do it for the love of it. Really. I'd rather have 100 of the right subscribers than 100,000 of the fucking people who are just subscribed because it's been forced on them. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have the right subscribers than a massive amount of subscribers.
Well, based on the comments, I only get comments on videos when I upload a new one. I get the same kind of people coming back and commenting. So I realize I have like regular viewers. But then the random comments I get, because I must have like 60 videos on fragrances. But most of them are older ones, and the older ones are popular, which is where I'm talking about clones. So most of the comments or people subscribe to me thinking that they're going to get kind of clones. But that's not the kind of content I post anymore.
Yeah.
So
this is the chill, smart, well-mannered stream. Yeah. Right. There's an audience. There is an audience for a chill, like well-mannered, smart, like people getting on in just like a conversational style.
Yeah.
Like there's, and then like other people just want hell on and shouting and fucking bollocks, and it's just and stupidity, and it's just like it can't be chewed. But at the same time, I'm fucking top less 12, and I'm ready for me.
Funny now he mentioned Lex, because Lex and I were friends. I kind of mentioned earlier about the Powerhouse Kings. There was a bit of drama between me and Lex and somebody else, and Yeah, me and Lex haven't talked in like 3 years. Even though we were quite friendly, we used to play games together. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think he likes me anymore because of this stuff that happened, which is understandable. I can see that from his point of view. I have nothing against him personally. Like, Lex is always a decent guy to me.
Have you ever thought of reaching out to him?
Well, this thing happened. I basically, like, I apologized to him, and we just haven't talked since. I kind of sent him a message saying I'm sorry, but that was a few years ago. But yeah, maybe I should. I'm crap for sort of.
The worst he could do would say no. I mean, he's balls deep in that fucking VAR, fucking the VR at the minute. From the last thing I remember, I don't speak to him outside of YouTube. But he doesn't post videos anymore. He's just wanking himself stupid into the VR. You know what I mean? I know it's just. I don't understand. It's a foreign world to me that it was. I sort of half remember it. I remember there was loads of kick-off when you said Powerhouse Kings, or when I said Powerhouse Kings, something came back. But it's just weird. I know what you mean. Sometimes you can just be done with people, or sometimes like you move on. There's a theory as well that apparently people change their friends. Apparently people change their friends every like 7 or 8 years. You ever heard that theory? People change like who
I think it's they change themselves. I think the theory behind that is your cells regenerate. So theoretically, 7 years from now, you're not the same person, as in like structurally as you were.
Shit. Yeah. That's quite a revelation.
I'm not sure how true that is. It's just a random fact that popped into my head. You guys, I'm going to head to the bathroom a second. I need you guys to hold the stream down while I...
Oh, shit. Right, I'll hold the stream down, then I'm going when you come back. At last. Jadlo.
It's on you.
Oh, shit. Jad, pressure on. Brace yourself.
It's you. It's all you, man. You're the star.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What will I talk about? I'll tell you something. I bought when I bought the Diamant, which I hold you responsible. Beautiful, by the way. Yeah, you put us on the Diamant, and I was interested. And then Caboose sent us a decant, a healthy decant, and I smelled it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is very nice." But I ordered it, I bought it from Notino in the UK, and they sent me a bottle, and they mustn't sell much of it. Because I got a bottle that was made in Oman, and it wasn't made in London. So I've got an oldie bottle of Diamant.
Is the cap white or?
I think it's magnetic.
Oh, magnetic. Okay, gotcha.
I think it is.
It was never really a monstrous performer.
No, it's not it's not one of the biggest. It's not like Interlude or Jubilation. I've only got to, it is. It's very gentlemanly as well. It's not an offensive perfume at all. It's very clean, very nice. I can see it in you a bit. I can see you all like dressed up.
I wear it to work.
Smell. Yeah. I can definitely see it being a beautiful work scent, especially if you're dealing with people. It's very fresh and very nice.
Mm-hmm. I've layered it once with Gold Man, and it's wow. Gold Man is the best fragrance to layer stuff in. And this
What's Gold Man smell like?
Gold
You'd like
Man,
it, for sure, definitely.
Sorry?
It smells like a rich.
You would like it.
Like a rich floral.
I thought you said it smells like rich.
Like it smells like the word rich.
Smells like money.
But it's not woody, and it's not creamy. It's more abrasive because it's florals.
Right.
Imagine just the filthiest, richest flower in the world with gold dust sprinkled upon it.
Has it got jasmine in it?
I don't know. I don't get jasmine. I
I'm
get
not a big jasmine fan, if I'm honest.
The rose and lily of the valley.
There's Mr. Johnson with Putin's fragrance. Do you know? I know what Stalin wore as a fragrance, and I really want to buy it. Look at Sproaty creasing.
Sorry, guys. Shout to us, Phoebus on Oh my god, man! Me and him go back years. I used to take the piss out of him for batch code obsession all the time, and he just come and say, "No, that's made my night." That is. Thank you, Shavathon. Cheers.
No, there's the fragrance called Troinoi by don't mention the bar. There's a fragrance called Troinoi, and that's what Stalin used to wear, and I want to buy that because I'm interested. Like I quite like shit like that. I don't endorse Stalin. I'm not a communist or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind smelling his perfume.
It's almost an interesting thing to have, or have something around you that the other person with that certain mindset had. Like, what drove him to do those things?
Especially like, imagine if it was the perfume. Imagine if I sent loads of people. Imagine if I started sending people to the fucking gulag. I put on his aftershave. I put on his aftershave, and I was like, whoa! Started sending people to the gulag. I'd have to build one first. Start coming up with some 5-year plans. Right, I'm going. You've kept me. No, he did not wear if Stalin didn't wear Krasnaya Moskva, I'm disappointed. I'm afraid he didn't. He wore Troinoi. I will put it in the comments when I go. I'm sure
that was some good
pronunciation,
man. Jesus Christ, man.
Sorry?
That was some good pronunciation. Was it Krasnaya Moskva?
Krasnaya Moskva.
I've never
Krasnaya Moskva.
No, it wasn't that. It was Troinoi. Right, I am going. Good night, gentlemen. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Good night.
Yeah, bro. We'll speak soon.
We should do this again. See you night.
Yeah, man. It's cool.
Good night.
Hey, Jed.
Hello.
So are you actually going to work soon, or was that?
It's perhaps after 3 hours.
In 3 hours' time? Or?
In 3 hours, yeah. I'll start an 8-hour shift.
Ah, right. Yeah, this stream won't be going on anyway that long. Like, it is 20 to 1 here, so I'm a bit tired. I've been mountain biking today, so I've been up for ages now. Yeah, I've just been exhausted. I was going to sort of work out tonight, and I basically got home about 6 p.m. I've done nothing. It's been easy to do nothing.
It's actually 3:38 a.m.
A.m. Jesus, man.
Damn it.
Like, yeah, you're up a crazy time, right? I mean, is it you sleep in the day because of your work, or?
I slept before midday.
Or is it because of things like, I mean, have you been on many YouTube streams recently, or have you kind of stepped back from that?
My work is just very, very demanding when it comes to like body rest and stuff, so I have to take in consideration sleep.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I always have an appreciation of people who work kind of odd shifts, you know. I guess you don't work a standard 9 to 5. Well, obviously, if you're shifted in 3 hours.
Yeah, I work all hours of the day, but it depends on the rotation.
Oh, really?
Start, middle, or end.
And that could change like as the week progresses. So 1 week, you know, I can't imagine that.
It's just I've almost started to get used to it, but nobody really gets used to it. And otherwise, everybody would be doing it, and they would be paid the same.
Like my mother, she works like I think 1 week. Well, she used to work in a factory, so like 1 week she was on like early shifts, which was I don't work until 4 a.m, and then the week after then it'd be on evening shifts, and then she'd be finishing at like 8 p.m. So like, you know, just 1 week to the other, where her timings would shift around, and I just thought, fuck, you know, that's no way to live. Like, I'm very lucky, I guess, in the job that I have.
You know, someone has to do it, and I believe in fate. So maybe perhaps people were created to do certain things in life, like the role that they play. Of course, we have free will, of course, but it's just you have to accept sometimes that the situation you're in is where you were meant to be.
Yeah, like I'm a web developer, so sometimes there's things that I need to do which are like basically out of business hours, you know, like I need to do something to the website, and effectively I can't sort of break the website in the day, you know, which would be the ideal time for me to do something. I have to really kind of work against that, but it's very few and far between. So I'm kind of lucky in that sense.
Yeah, that's a great thing, man. I always thought that like working on websites wouldn't be like operational, like surgery. You know, the thing you're working on has to be on pause, if that's a correct term, for you to be working on it. I'll just assume that people in the background will be just like programming stuff and then they upload it.
Kind of. I mean, ideally, what happens is you have like these redundancies. So, for example, a website like Google will be served by like thousands and thousands of servers. So when you go to google.com, you end up basically like sort of one of X many thousands of actual copies of Google. So the idea being that if they need to update one, they could sort of update them in sequence and never really sort of break the website or take it down, because effectively they're always staggering the updates to it. So like it basically costs more money to do that. I don't know why I brought these flowers over.
That's really.
So it costs more money to do that, obviously, because you need to have like, you know, you need to have the ability to kind of deploy those updates in sequence and how you actually manage it and control the distribution of people. Like, for example, in one company I worked for, we had like one server was the website. So you went to website.com, you just went to that server. But now, because many things happened where the site would go down, we effectively have two copies of the website. And when you go to .com, there's another server that basically sends you to one of two.
So
like
it creates like more of a version, a twin of it.
Yeah, it's like called load balancing, and you know that can be you can basically have 15 or so, you know, and the idea being that you could break one, and effectively you stay online.
That's really interesting to me. I'm like a caveman when it comes to technology. So hearing this stuff and breaking it down as simple as you just did to me is really amazing. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, it's like people wouldn't be aware of this because, you know, how, you know, you go to google.com, nobody knows technologically what happens. I mean, I'm probably simplifying it even more about how they actually do it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. You're just speaking on my level, and my level is pretty basic, so I really appreciate that.
That's fine. I have to do it as myself because I guess, like, in terms of a company, you know, the people you deal with, sort of CEOs, I say that. I'm in a very small company, so it's me and my boss directly. But, you know, he doesn't understand the technology 100%, so you have to be able to level with people and sort of, you know, simplify it to that regard. But it can be tricky. Sorry?
That's quite a talent.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to sort of take something that's really technical and to break that down, because often, like, if something goes wrong, the reason is, it's like, well, that happened, which caused that, and then that caused that caused that, and so on, so on, so on. And basically, by that point, you've kind of gone so far from what the problem is that, you know, it's tricky then to sort of simplify all that into this is what happened.
Have you ever taught
like
anyone? Have you ever taught anyone in your life?
I guess colleagues of sorts, like, never directly,
sort of mentoring, right? Not
yeah,
really.
in some sense.
Yeah.
Like, I work basically as a solo web developer. Like, I'm employed by the company, and I'm the only person who does it. In the previous job, there was a team of us, and I was like a lead. So it would be my job to get, you know, new people who come in, and sort of other team members would sort of look to me for guidance or criticism of their own work, and sort of how can they do this better, or is this good enough, and things like that.
That's really great. It's very is it safe to say the word generous of you?
No, I mean, I kind of had to, you know. I mean, for me, it was somewhat annoying in terms of, like, there was time I could spend doing my own thing, you know, whereas I had to sort of be a bit more open to others. Like, in my job now, I stick headphones in, I can just, like, listen to music for 8 hours a day. I have very few distractions, so I can just kind of crack on with what I want to do. So it's a lot better in that regard, as opposed to having to sort of have people come over and say, "Oh, I'm thinking of doing this. I think there could be this way done, which would be the best way to do it," and things like that.
I can't imagine having your job. My job is very interactive. It is based on interactions, actually.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I must direct, communicate, coordinate, monitor, report back, and disseminate information. All those things I have to do. I'm constantly like my attention span is constantly being stimulated in a way. Yeah, my brain is always working on for 8 constant hours. I take longer bathroom breaks than most people.
Just to kind of get away from it for a bit.
Exactly.
I used to have this thing where so like programming, that's what I do. It's kind of theoretical. It's building stuff from nothing. It's like having a 15-story building, and then they go, right, we want to take out the 4th floor. Yeah, we want to smash out the 4th floor, bring the building down to like 14 floors, stick a swimming pool in the 18th on the 12th level. You just kind of like, it's all theoretical, like stuff you couldn't physically do, you can sort of do in software.
Yeah.
So I always used to be a bit egotistical and think like, oh, if I get disturbed, it's like the end of the world. Not the end of the world, but it's difficult for me to get back into the flow of what I was doing. If I'm coding away and somebody then comes and asks me a question, it then becomes difficult to get back into what I was doing. But then from like working now in this company where we have call center people and people in various jobs, I've kind of realized that that's not just true of me. Like the people on the phone, the people on the phones, for example, who do customer support, they have to like juggle like a live chat session with a telephone call and sort of, they're looking into something for someone while they're also looking into something for someone else. So they have to juggle multiple things at the same time. So I've learned that like my job isn't special in sort of requiring this like focus exclusively. But like there's a thing with like creative jobs where like there's a concept of flow and focus where, for example, like I could sort of put music on. I don't even realize I'm listening to music. I can sort of listen to an album and think, oh, I missed that song or whatever. And like you're so focused in what you're doing that you just don't realize other things are happening, and you become very mentally sort of set into what you're doing, which is like a Zen sort of like feeling or mode of working. But yeah, it's really cool.
I'm very familiar with the creative process and the disruption of the creative process, because I don't know if you know this or you know this information. I write poems like as a hobby.
I know, Jad. I know.
So if I get disturbed while in the process of making a poem, I may forget the line of thought that I was having, or I may even forget the emotion.
Yeah, definitely.
It's based on emotion. I mean, your work is more logical. My work is more emotional, but they're both creative. So creation isn't really based on emotion. It's just based on the ability to create. If that makes sense to you. My creations are more of an emotional side. Your creations are more of a logical side.
I just read the comment that Jay just had. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I know, like with programming, you have to think. It's what I said earlier. That causes that, causes that, causes that, causes that, causes that, causes that. When you're modifying something, you have to kind of remember the chain of events and stuff, and like, the order things happening. So like once you sort of mentally remembering this and sort of how that fits with that, and then wait, if I change that, it affects that, and then that is linked to that, and then that's linked to that. So once you're kind of figuring all of this out, if then somebody comes over and says, oh, there's a problem with the website, can you look into this customer's order for me? You just go, all this thing you just kind of spent ages rearranging in your brain just kind of goes out the window. So that's like the sort of flow disruption. And it's the same then, obviously, with poems and stuff, you're thinking of how rhyme schemes will happen and all like the emotions behind that. And then once that gets disrupted, that's really hard to come back into then.
Yes, it's almost as if it's a game of Jenga.
Yeah.
Like you have to build the whole tower, and if you get disrupted, like you can't build a piece where there's supposed to be a space. Like you can't build upon space. It has to be connected.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I need to shut off my brain. So
No, that's fair
it's
enough.
been fun. You're frozen somehow, and we'll just say goodbye to the chat.
But I'm frozen.
Yeah. My shit is frozen. My screen.
Oh, right. I think my camera's. Let me check.
Yeah. No, your camera's fine. It's my browser. Yeah.
I gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pushing 2 hours here. Do I stay another 10 minutes by myself and just talk shit? Yeah, you know, I'm close to 2 hours. I may as well make it a nice even number, right?
Oh yeah, I really like the even numbers. I don't like odd numbers.
That's fine. I can hold this shit show down by myself.
You can hold it by yourself. Maybe perhaps somebody from the chat would just have a small amount of bravery and just have a conversation with you.
Yeah, like it's pushing 1 o'clock here now, so I'm quite tired. So, you know, I'll be ending. I'm not going to end this and just go to bed. I mean, realistically, that's what I should do. But I'll probably have to unwind a little bit after this.
I get it. It's almost like a running machine.
Yeah. Also, look at this light just shining off my head. I've had loads of comments with this, like, "Oh, you bald man, it just shines off you." But what can I do? What can I do? Anyway, I turn the light just.
You're not the man in the mirror. You're the man of the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. I could sort of I could direct this to somebody's eye and sort of fuck.
You know what, bro? I'm gonna call you Silver Surfer from now on. It's a cool name, bro. I'm Nightwing, by the way.
Yeah, I recognize Nightwing from something, but I'm not sure from what. Is that a Marvel character?
It is indeed not a Marvel character. It's the first Robin. After he moved on from the Robin gig, he became his own man.
So you get the first what?
The first Robin, you know, Batman and Robin.
Okay, right.
Yeah, Nightwing is was the first Robin, and he's the first Nightwing, and the only Nightwing.
So that would be, when I say Marvel, it's more like DC then.
It's DC, yes.
I have to say, it's not my thing. Like, I don't really like superhero films. I've really fallen out of enjoyment of them, like, especially Marvel.
Yeah, different strokes, bro.
Different Sproaty.
Different strokes.
Yeah, it's a very versatile pseudonym.
Well, I've helped you with the 52 minutes. And it's 52 peace.
No problem. I could just play here. I could just play my guitar. Oh, he's gone. Yo, it's just me. So the viewership is now dropping, funny enough. When it's the Sproaty show by itself, then I have to say, right, this is really difficult to just talk because I don't know what to say. Somebody in the comments give me something to talk about and I'll rant or whatever or talk some bollocks. Wasn't the Silver Surfer a black lad in the movies? I have no idea. I've actually not been keeping up the chat, man. I'm awful. Yeah, yes. Yeah, so Rich has sent me some samples of this brand, the Novaya Zarya. I'm awful with pronunciation. Novaya Zarya. I don't know. But these countries are kind of locked. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So what's the best oud I've tried lately? I've not tried any new ouds. Actually, I have some here. One sec. So not that long ago, I actually bought some oud wood, and I was sent all these different samples, and as you can see, you know, some are unopened. So I'll give you guys a live first impressions. Why not? So there's a seller on Etsy called Royal Bengal Oud, who's from Canada, who's he's really kind. If you buy from him, yeah, this is standard. It's not because I'm saying this now. He gives tons of samples. Like I bought some oud wood and he just sent me like 15 different ouds. So I'll pick one randomly to give you a sort of impression of. But yeah, I haven't actually got on my way to sort of buy any new ouds or whatever. Okay, cool. You know it. The guy's name is Ish. He's lovely. Okay, that's patchouli. I'm struggling to read his writing. Jeez. Right, one sec. There's tons here. Look, there's a box full of them. I also have a friend who's like hounding me to get back into ouds, but I kind of consider it a bit of a waste of money at the moment. Okay, right. So here's from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lankan oud is generally kind of bright and citric. People know oud. You're Brian and Udic. Cool, man. I recognize the name actually. Nice to see you here. Woo! This smells. Okay, so Sri Lankan horror Kelly. I'll write it up here now. Horror Kelly. I also fucking misspelled that. And it's an L, not a K, because I'm a knob. This smells really smoky. It's not. Yeah, this doesn't seem like something I would wear. I'm not really a fan of smoky ouds. I did. Oh wait! I actually had this before. I think I may have bought a vial of this, but it wasn't to my liking. This smells different, but what's interesting about oud is like this is 0.05 mil perhaps, and I basically think the quantity of oud actually affects how it smells, because I had like 1 mil of this and it was much denser and much smokier. Like in this smaller quantity, it just seems like that it's just not so pungent, which is a good thing, because I thought that stuff was almost unwearable. It was very awful. I'm not going to put this in skin actually, just because. So hora means hooker in Swedish. That probably makes sense actually. No, hookah, smoky, incensey. Yeah, I can see the association there. Right. So yeah, that one I've tried. So I'll pick another one. Okay, this is from Kate. I can never pronounce these. One thing about oud is this made me very aware of the world. So this is from Thailand, and the place is called Keo Ko. Again, I'll write this and pin it. So I've tried quite a lot of wood from this region, but not any oil from what I've tried. So again, this is from Royal Bengal Ouds. Yeah, I think I've tried a few from here. Hello, Mr. Bitteth. This is really nice. Like Thai oud is generally sweet and like fruity to some degree. Like if you know oil from Trat, like that's the kind of classical Thailand oud. Yeah, this is quite good. I should probably do some videos about these, because I've been into oud now for a while. I've never actually talked about it on my channel. I never really knew how to sort of approach it, because I didn't want to just jump into it and start talking about oud, because there's a lot of background stuff to know beforehand, and I just didn't really know how to kind of give this overview of oil as such, because like what people know of oud from sort of fragrances like oud wood, they think of like Hindi oud, and it's kind of really disgusting, or well, like a sort of hit or miss, whether you like it or not. But most oud is not like that whatsoever. Okay, Mike's Bitcoin Ethereum, I don't know. Yeah, I've seen you commenting a few times. You've been on my channel for a while now, right? Because I've seen you commented on other people's channels about you've made a lot of money, if I remember. I pay attention to these things. This is really pleasant. I think, like, if people smell this, they wouldn't think it's oud, because, like, the standard oud that people think is that, like, Hindi oud, which is very barnyard and funky. And yeah, this is nowhere near that ballpark whatsoever. And yeah, getting into ouds, I got into like natural fragrances for ages. I was wearing for 8 months, I only wore natural attars. I basically just disavowed sprays. I was like, fuck that. And as a result, I kind of got I have many things, like I have civet, I have a skunk tincture. This is probably the worst smelling thing I've ever tried in my life. It's skunk at like 2% dilution, and it's so pungent. Like, it's the kind of thing you smell and it's an instant recoil, because smelling it up close, your nostrils just can't take it. Hey, I've made it past 2 minutes. 2 hours. I was saying that I was going to solo this and go to 2 hours and then kind of call it night, but hey, that's kind of easy to do by myself. Yeah, like Brian, I had that same thought, but somehow I've lost my interest in oud. I feel like I think with oud, right, I always had this. I remember when I first tried it, I bought like 6 samples from Imperial Ouds, and I just kind of bought them expecting something, and the smell never gave me this thing, and then it just led me down this rabbit hole where I kind of just bought loads of oud. I always enjoyed it and took pleasure in it, but I just kind of never really. From oud, you get people who seem very, very, very set on oud, and I think I just kind of went mental buying it, expecting to eventually reach that stage, and it just never happened. So I just kind of like stepped back from oud, because I looked at how much money I've spent on things. Yeah, it's not good. I spent a lot of money which I'm unable to get back. Like things like Royal Bengal Ouds, like nobody knows the brand. It's such a niche brand in terms of only people on Oudic know it. So it's difficult to sell, because once you've made an investment on a bottle, I've put these on eBay and just nobody buys them because they don't know. So it's a really awkward one. The annoying thing is only brands really like Enza and I can never say the word Aura sort of hold value. You can take a slight loss in it, but I've really struggled to sell other brands. So I've caused you to buy a few fragrances in the past. I don't like hearing that, to be honest, because I always try and give impartial advice. And it's what I was doing personally in the past. I was sort of buying fragrances based on reviews. And it's always a bit of a worry that I've caused other people to do that, because, well, I never think I describe fragrances very well, for starters. But just the fact that like people will take your opinion on and sort of do that. So I hope everything you bought has been good anyway. Oops. Satoshi's, so is that some kind of new, like Satoshi was the guy who wrote Bitcoin, right? I'm a programmer, I'm kind of a little bit aware of who does what. But just I've had no interest, not no interest, but no knowledge or any in-depth stuff about Bitcoin and all sort of cryptocurrencies and whatnot. But like, the fact that things like, I didn't realize there's conventions for cryptocurrencies, and it just seems like every day a new one's released. I remember there was that Dogecoin or whatever, and I always thought it was a bit of a meme, but then it became a thing. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Yeah, like I'm jumping everywhere now. So let me pin some comments, so I'll talk about that. So TRNP, I've heard of the brand but not tried anything by them. Sultan Pasha, I've met Sultan. He's a really nice guy. Me and him, we've been for food, not just me and him, but a few of us. He's a really nice guy, very funny. If you have him on Facebook, then he posts all these memes and stuff. Sultan's really cool. I like Sultan. And he also makes great fragrances. However, I've sold a few of them. But I think Kevin's going to be coming on. Yo, bro.
Yo.
You're interrupting me with my fragrance talk. I'm joking. How's it going, Matt?
Am I allowed to come on now, Matt?
You are. Fuck you, man. Stop making it like that.
I just came to tell you, I'm never coming on your show again.
Why? There you go, guys. That was Kevin. Biggest wanker in Fry come apart. I'm joking. Like, I don't think I've actually mentioned Sultan Pasha on my... Oh, wait. Are you guys talking between yourselves? Sorry, I didn't realize that. I thought you were talking to me then. It is quite cool that the chat is just like taking itself. I can probably just sit here and just let it go, you know? Yeah, I didn't know what to respond to now, and there's a lot going on. So yeah, I think TRNP is this natural brand who create like small extracts, and it's all natural. But there you go, look. Let me see if I can pronounce it. T.O. Nathal Naturals Perfume. T.O. Nathal Natural Perfumes. Okay. I think I may have mentioned Sultan Pasha on a live stream perhaps, but I've never actually discussed his fragrances on my channel. Like I said, I've kind of avoided discussing oils and natural things just because it's a very vast world. I just didn't really know how to begin. Like I always thought I kind of needed a caveat stuff, like just before jumping into samples and talking about ouds. But it's difficult with YouTube. I think you can't assume a prior knowledge about the subject, so you have to kind of take it as maybe like introduce people to the subject first and then build upon that. And I just could never be bothered. But yeah, check out Base Notes. There's like threads out there that's dedicated to things like a Reach. You know, like a Reach has a massive thread about people all kind of hyping it up to some degree. I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted about some of these brands. I feel like they release things a bit too frequently, and yeah, it's a bit of a controversial opinion, perhaps. Well, but I don't care. What do I care? You know, it's my opinion at the end of the day. I don't care if people don't like it or not. That's the whole point of the channel, right? So yeah, this is the best comment of the night, guys. I love my Kuros. Fuck yeah. Do I have those crazy summer flankers? I do. I have Kuros Tattoo, Kuros Ode O or something. I have like the original first flanker, which is called Kuros Ode Sport. I have Kuros Freischer, and like there was quite a few Kuroses, like a summer 2005, summer 2002, summer 2007. I own two of them, but they aren't very good. To me, the two summer ones aren't that good. They're kind of like, they're not Kuros enough. Kuros Tattoo is okay. I've owned that for like 3.5 years. But I just kind of bought these stuff expecting to talk about them. You know, I had a channel. I thought, I have a channel. At the time, nobody else had talked about these fragrances. So I thought I could have these exclusive stuff. But then I don't think people cared enough. Or I just didn't care enough to post the content. So yeah, like a Reach, I have Russian Oud. I'll show you guys something now. Yo. Yeah, so you guys may know I have like Russian Oud here. But you see this bottle is 50 ml. Wait for it to sell down. A while ago, what happened is there's awful quality control to these bottles. So this was sitting in my cabinet. I basically knocked it off my shelf, and the bottle fell upside down, landed on the cap, and the cap basically pressed into the bottle. These caps would sit really tight, so I pulled it off. I literally pulled off the sprayer at the same time, and the sprayer got stuck in the cap. I foolishly then just kind of like, I reached out to the brand. They just kind of asked about. They didn't really sort of get back to me and offer a solution. Or they eventually sent me out a sprayer, but they sent it to the wrong address, blah, 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 blah. I moved house as well, so they sent it to a house I didn't live at. And honestly, this stuff evaporated. It was probably like here when I dropped it. You know, I barely used it, and I probably lost like 20 mil, which is probably like mental now because, you know, the prices of these. I think I've seen bottles like with this volume selling for like £400, which is ridiculous. You know, that's like a 400% markup on the price. But yeah, luckily Peter from Fragrance View, a popular channel, he actually reached out to me because I was being a bit of a bitch on Instagram saying, this is broken, you know, I can't believe it. And Peter then sent me out a replacement cap as well as a thing to sort of get onto the bottle, like a crimping tool. So yeah, fair play to Peter for that. So he sorted me out. So now it's capped. I've recapped it and whatnot. But yeah. Like, I really like this. This is one of the few fragrances that I don't wear because I have to really be in a certain mood for this. Like, it's really, really not a casual. Like, I wear Kouros, I wear Antaeus, Interlude, I'll wear 10 sprays of Interlude, which is a bad idea because it gets obnoxiously sweet. But I have to be in the mood for this. This isn't like just throw this fragrance on kind of thing. I actually sent Rich a sample of this, and he said it didn't last more than 4 hours on his skin, which I think is impossible. This is like close to a 24-hour fragrance on my skin. There's also a bit of controversy about this, about whether it actually contains musk, because I think it's meant to have like something was extracted from a musk pod or something. But I have heard rumors about whether it's synthetic musk or not. Like, the brand has been a bit upfront lately about using synthetic civet, I believe, or synthetic musk in a recent release. Again, I don't really keep up with all this. But, you know, whether it's synthetic or not, I'm not really that well versed to actually make that judgment. Right. So yeah, I'm losing the chat. I'm not really sure like who's commenting to who. Like, I can't tell if you guys are talking amongst each other or kind of directing at me. Lies. Who's that to? And in relation to what? No, it's not really a carnal fragrance. I mean, it's not a sexy fragrance as such, but it's so anti-casual. I've repeatedly said on my channel that I'll wear like these classy fragrances because I'm not really a classy guy. I don't go to sort of suit and tie events. An example would be Dior Sauvage Parfum 2012. People say this is really upscale. I'll wear that with shorts and t-shirts, for example, because I don't do like kind of posh advice. I see. I don't do like sort of posh things, you know, so I have no reason to sort of dress up, so to speak. You know, like I'm wearing this now. This is me dressed up to some degree. So if I kind of took that approach with my fragrances, then I would never wear the stuff that I own. So I'll wear these like, I forgot the word, you know, upmarket, kind of like serious fragrances or formal fragrances. I'll wear them super casually, but just not this one. And it's nothing to do with the rarity. I hardly reach for it. But yeah, like, you know, the strength of this makes me wonder if it's natural because, you know, you guys, I seem like there's a reduced audience now, but you all seem to be of the same mindset. So these natural fragrances, you know, they tend to not be very strong. So I remember I tried the first releases. I tried Russian. I tried a lot of Arij stuff back in 2017, like sort of before the brand took off and before there was like hype everywhere about it. And a kind person sent me samples of Siberian Musk, the original, Ottoman Empire, and whatever the other one is called, I can't remember. And I was gobsmacked with how strong they were. Agnes was over here at the time, and I remember I sprayed Siberian Musk on her because I never really spray fragrances on other people to experience them myself. And I could smell her from about 20 foot away. And it just left this biggest trail. This trail of sillage was incredible. And just something jumped out to me as, like, later on I thought, natural fragrances don't seem to have that kind of performance. So, yeah, I'm not sure, like. You're an Agarwood Sarm fanboy. Yeah, I was really big into Zach stuff. I've sold off a lot of stuff because I found that it was very, not similar, but I had this weird thing with Hindi oils where I basically was very much into Hindi oils or the barnyardy stuff. And I took a bit of a break from it, and then I came back to it, and I found it difficult to actually, it just was almost intolerable to my nose. Like, it's, some things are like an acquired taste, yeah? Like, for example, red wine. I just didn't like red wine for ages, and then just after repeatedly drinking it, I became used to it. And then I was like, oh, I'll go and try a different Shiraz one day, or try a Cabernet Sauvignon, if that's how you pronounce it. And I found it hard to sort of get back into the Hindi oils. I feel like when a region come out as we're not wearing perfumes. Yeah, like, you know, it was an interesting experience to smell only natural stuff for ages. But I've just taken the other approach now. I always thought, people say once you go natural, you can never come back, but I don't think that's true. Like, I don't really wear the oils I have. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the collection of oils and stuff I have. It's a lot, and I had a lot more, and I've sold off tons because just I didn't wear it. It seemed like an investment of sorts that wasn't really going to pay off. I didn't buy it for investment purposes. I bought it for the sake of, you know, enjoyment of the smell. But I just kind of went off that a little bit. I can't actually remember how she reacted. I remember I was just very, very impressed with the performance. I think it may be like on one of her last days here when she's flying back home, and I just remember it was very, very strong. What do I think about Kissest Rain? Never tried it. I know it's that George, the Fragrance Apprentice, he speaks quite highly of it, but it's something I've never tried. Is that Renia J? No, I think. 1 second. It's close. It's Renia. Renia Perfumes. I'm using a webcam at the moment, so I can't really. It's not portable. You'll see all my clothes. I've been. I can't really show my collection because so, like, here's all Al Shari foods, as well as there's a brand here, Mellifluence, who does like these natural attars for relatively cheap, and they're of decent quality too. So I have one bottle by, can't see it, one bottle by Al Sharif. This is Jannah, I believe, which means heaven it's like heaven for Muslims, I believe. And like I said, you know, tons of samples. I've had some of these for 2 years. Excuse the noise. I just can't finish them, you know. There's less than 0.1 mil left, but I just can't finish them. I've worn some of these like 8 times. It's mental. And like, this is my collection of Rising Phoenix, so the perfumer J.K. Delap, who's a friend of mine, but, you know, we've met we met after I bought all these. Like, I kind of spent a few days. Well, I spent 8 days in London with JK, and yeah, he's a really cool guy. Very friendly and kind of easygoing. Oh, yeah, I can't really produce my collection. I'd have to bring them all out one by one. But at one point, I had like 8 or 9 of these, all just full of various samples. And I made a point of just starting to weigh samples, or when people would buy things from me, I would just send them samples because I wasn't getting through it myself. I'll put this back. But I have about 15 of those vial holders with full, well, not full, but I have maybe like 8 of ouds, sort of organized by brand, and then I just got loads of tons of decants. Like, I had it over here where I live, there's not many places to try like high-end fragrances. So I always had to buy sort of like 10 or 5 ml samples on fragrance groups just to kind of try out different things because I couldn't go to a shop and try them, which kind of sucks. Nice. Yeah, so I know George speaks really highly of Kisses Rain. I did find it funny how he done a video of his like most top worn fragrances or something, and they were all full bottles. I found that a bit funny. But again, like, I don't really go out my way to watch fragrance reviewers. I'm quite selfish in that regard. You know, I'll post content and don't watch back. There was a time in my life I would spend hours every day reading Fragrantica, reading base notes. I kind of reading Udict as well, a forum I visit. I'm actually a moderator. I'm a staff member of this forum. I logged in for the first time like in a month the other day, and I just lost the interest in discussing it. You know, it's difficult. Yeah, there's no way to post live pics on the YouTube chat, unfortunately. So yeah, Al Sharif, they are. It's I tried one the other day which seemed a bit opposite. It seemed like more of a Thai oil. I can't remember which one. I picked up an oil randomly and swiped it for the first time in a few months for sure. I mean, of wearing any oud of sorts. And I was kind of surprised because mostly Al Sharif is these Hindi oils, or they do venture out into other regions nowadays. But this one just seemed a bit different to what I recall. And it's interesting it takes a really long break from oud because, I don't know, I find your taste in fragrances changes. I'm quick to sort of dismiss things and sell them off and think this isn't for me. But like, over time, I've started to sort of like fragrances I thought wouldn't be my style. And then I kind of also think then all the stuff I've sold off in the past would have come back round to sort of enjoying those. I'm not sure. Yeah, so Brian, I do have a sales post on Udict. I can link it here. I mean, if anybody wants to look at this. So there's quite a few here that I'm selling. Am I wearing pants? I'm wearing joggers. Oh, smack my head. Yeah, so I give the impression of being a bit smart with this, but underneath, it's like a mullet clothes-wise, yeah? All business up top, all... that's good to hear. So we had a discussion earlier about clones because I kind of made the point, right, that there's a lot of companies out there that sell these, clone oils, and there's also a ton of companies that seem to produce the undiluted oils. So I just can't imagine, right, that there's umpteen million companies all cloning, for example, Tom Ford Oud Wood independently and creating their own versions of it. Like from what I know, like it costs a lot of money to run GCM analysis of fragrances. So like, I remember Perfume Parlor, which is this like oil company based in the UK. they've got like 1,600 or 2,000 like roll-on oils or sprays you can purchase. And, you know, like, so, and they claim they do like what's called reverse gas spectrometry. So it kind of seems that, okay, and it just seems odd that there's that many sort of companies out there doing it. That's all I'll say. I know I may look intelligent, but I'm not. Thank you for the compliment, though. Like, you know, I'm kind of I know the brief history of Dua and Alexandria and how they were both sort of, you know, how they were both part of the same company and then they split off and done this, done that. I'm interested to see where this is going now. Right, tell you what, I'm gonna just put this back. I don't like to leave my fragrances out in the light. So 1 second. You know, not that being exposed to the light here, that's very natural for half an hour is going to make a difference. So yeah, I mean, like, you know, based upon that alone, you can just see the potential for, I don't know, like if you're selling stuff at sort of X-ray concentration, which is what, like 20% oil. So you have a 30 ml bottle, 20% of that is what, 6 ml oil, and then you dilute that with, you know, 24 ml of perfume as alcohol. You know, the cost you can sell that for, if you sell it for like $60 or so, as you do, then there's a lot. That was really funny then. There's a lot of money to be made from that. So I don't know. You know, to get a formula, I don't know nothing about perfumery really, so I'm just kind of just thinking out loud, I suppose, here. But for what I did see the whole, like, somebody was like being a bit sort of investigative on Base Note in regards to the whole background of Dua. You know, the claims of being a master perfumer and stuff like that, and I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, I'll agree with that. So, I can't sit down, can I? So yeah, I was actually sent, so over here in the UK, I remember, you know, there's a guy who posts on the fragrance groups over here who was the distributor for Alexandria Fragrances UK. And I'm not trying to turn this into a whole drama thing. I mean, this story is irrelevant. There's no drama behind this, but just like what's going on with the chats. So yeah, the guy from the UK distributor of Alexandria Fragrances, he sent me a couple of fragrances a while ago, obviously with the intention of reviewing them. I never actually did. And I chose things that I had samples of so I could actually make a comparison. But I'm just lazy with videos. I think my things are very spur of the moment, you know. I kind of just think, yeah, I'll make a video and I just do it. If it has to be done, as in, like, you know, somebody sent me something, I'm very blasé to it. And fucking hell, these are so strong. Like, just the waft that's coming off these isn't pleasant. I think one of these was Silk Mood. So the clone of like Bracken Man by Amouage. This was Anubis Kiss, which is Black Afghano. I think it might have been Oud Sati Mood. No. So this is Nostalgia, which was Oud Sati Mood. And this was Something Life, which I think maybe in Roja Dove's UAE. But yeah, I never really rated them. But I will say they smell similar. Like the Bracken Man one, it smells really. I have a sample of the Amouage, and it's very close. You know, there's no doubt that some of these clones can hit the spot. And the worst thing is, of course, that you'll spray your hand. Like as a reviewer now, you'll spray your hand and you'd be like, "Oh, I don't smell this. I don't smell that." But it's a totally different experience when you smell the fragrance in the air. And I think a lot of people would be hard pressed to sort of differentiate between the real and the clone. Like if you just smell it on somebody's trailer as they walk past. I think that's where clones may excel at, and reviewers may be a bit harsh to judge that because they smelling it up close, which is not really how people will smell fragrances on you. You know, it's unlikely that unless you have a partner, you know, somebody's going to be coming up to you directly and smelling your neck if you've sprayed right here. I'm being ignorant to the chat at the moment. I think I'm friends with Hani on Facebook actually, but I've never actually spoken to him. This happens a lot. Like as a fragrance person, I get so many random friend requests from people, and you know, it's like 30 mutual friends, all of like sort of people in the community. But it's got to the point now I've just stopped adding people on Facebook because I've basically blanked my profile in terms of like any personal information, and I would rather just keep it as people I know, as you know. But yeah, I have Hani and I've never talked to him. What do I think I got called out before actually on some doer fragrance group. So that guy, my Mickers, you know, Dan, who you know, RIP, I think I posted some shitty comment on a video of his. I think it was in regards to doer, and I think I may have made a bit of a dick comment. And then somebody sent me a screenshot of like this doer fragrance lovers, and they basically screenshotted my comment to Dan, and then everyone was sort of hating on me on this comment, which is fucking hilarious. But yeah. Bringing back some memories. I mean, yeah, like honestly, this was 3 years ago, probably like late 2017. I was sent these samples, and like that's kind of where my interest in fragrances were at their peak. Like I've just taken a massive step back. I think it probably came into like mind when I got into natural fragrances. So I got into ouds and attars. I stopped watching YouTube reviewers because I had no interest in keeping up with the Joneses in terms of so many new releases. Reviewers who just kind of seem to do top 10 lists or most complimented, or that's like the whole their thing. Me and Rich were discussing earlier, like, you know, I take the piss. I don't think people realize it, but I've started I do the highlight thing, you know, my thumbnails, but it's mocking, but nobody seems to realize that. And I try to do it, so I do it like a really thick outline, but people just don't really get this dry humor that I have, where I'm effectively taking the piss out of everybody, but people don't get it. And yes, it's a shame with Dan. He was nice, you know. He was very charismatic in his reviews. I think I may not have seen eye to eye with him over a few things, but he was generally a enthusiastic person and was definitely like, you know, a good person in the community for sure. Like YouTube has spiraled. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, right? You know, people like Jeremy, like people see that somebody can be successful, and then people want to get a slice of that pie, so they kind of pander to that to some degree. It's sad, really. You know, I think people start off with the love. I mean, I'll be honest, like when I first got into fragrances, it was Jeremy whose channel I came across, and he was a breath of fresh air, because I remember watching people like Mark and like earlier reviews of Stephen of Red Essence, Mark of Robes 08. And, you know, there was guys, I had no idea about fragrances, and there were guys in their bedroom or kind of in their rooms with these like cabinets of fragrances behind them, like showing off like the collections. And I just thought, fucking, this is mental. Like, you know, the fact that somebody was so into fragrances as a newcomer, that was really crazy to me. And I kind of saw like Jeremy, and the fact he was out there talking to people, and sort of he was outside talking about his reviews. It's it was kind of interesting. But then to sort of see the progression of his channel and stuff, then yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Nikhil, you know, I've talked to Nikhil quite a bit. And Peter, he sorted me out the sprayer for Russian Oud. And yeah, Peter's really nice. I remember thinking Peter was really reserved in his earlier reviews. And like over time, I've sort of watched him open up. I always thought he was quite a bit nervous, so to speak. Because I think I started my channel about the same time as Peter, or he might have been like a little bit established. But it's interesting to see, like, you know, the journey that the reviewer takes. You know, like I start off just talking about clones and whatnot, and just kind of that's not what I do now. But at no point have I actually came out and said I don't do clones. So I think I've built up an audience around that because my most popular videos are clone based, and they're not going to get that content from me anymore. Okay, I didn't know that Peter had a say in that, the Reed one. I know that Nikhil had input. Yeah, I thought it was Nikhil's. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Thank you very much, Chico. Yeah, I mean, stuff like my 700 spray video, that was a bit of a yeah, 7. I mean, looking back now, that was stupid. I didn't mean to sort of do a I'm going off topic here. Yeah, so I basically hit 700 subscribers. I done a 700 spray video, which I had literally juice running off my face. It was crazy. And I had this thought of doing like 1,000 subscriber special. I was going to do like a swipe of Oud for every subscriber and do like 1,000 swipes of Oud. And I was going to go like, fuck, am I doing that? That's way too much money. And then I just didn't post any content for like a year and a half. Yeah, like it's really good how fragrance has that association. Like I was really late to get into fragrances. I was like 4.5 years ago maybe. So up until that point, I didn't really wear fragrances, and it was a very dramatic jump for me to go from not wearing anything to just hoarding. And I'm kind of annoyed that I haven't really made much of a scent association with my teenage years or my childhood, or like, you know, like early adulthood. Like one thing is like doing this channel has made me speak better. Like I become very conscious of me saying I watch my early videos, and I'll tell you what, it's really interesting, right, guys? Like just doing this now it's natural to me almost. But like film yourself just talking for 5 minutes. Try that and sort of see how cringy it is to sort of watch yourself and hear your own voice. It's like really difficult, and you'll pick up on so many sort of things that you say that you don't realize. Like for example, I use the word like. It's a very Welsh Valleys thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, oh yeah, like. It's almost like a California Valley girl as well. But yeah, you don't realize the things you say. God, I'm going off on so many tangents here. Yeah, I think this was back in, you know, doing the 700 sprays I think it was that point I just decided I couldn't be asked to sort of be a part of the community and sort of be pandering, and I'm just going to do my own little thing. Like, for example, you know, my channel name is Stephen Sprout, is my name. Like, somebody said to me I should call my channel Older Sprout, which I think is a good one, but I don't really want to label myself as a YouTube channel. And stupidly, I've created this as my personal. I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah, I forget. Yeah, nothing. No, just blah, 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 blah. Nothing said that. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing 1,000 swipes of Oud. You know, I don't have enough. I'd use up thousands of pounds worth of things for the sake of like a video which will get 200 views. Not that I care, but it's just that's such a tremendous waste of money. Yep, I think it's the nature, you know. Rich and I discussed this earlier. There's something very impulsive about fragrances, and people just go off and buy, you know, it's very easy to get carried away. I done with samples, like, you know, like, you know, like I have samples that people have sent me that I just bought. You know, I was buying 10-minute samples and then I'd buy a bottle, you know? Fuck yeah! Oop. I just keep nodding. Yeah, Fahrenheit, you know. I basically I found my fragrances. I'm at the point now. I don't want to buy no more. Like, I'm happy. God, I really need your glasses. These are fucked. Yeah, like, I'm happy just to own Fahrenheit, you know. I could probably just wear, not just that one, but I could probably wear 10. I could own 10 fragrances and be happy, you know. But there's that little niggling feeling of, oh, buy some more, you know. Try something new. Try something new. Try something new. Try something else. And yeah, Fahrenheit is one of the most faked fragrances. I think also if you go hunting for vintage ones, it can be a bit difficult because it has to be stored very well. I find Fahrenheit and it degrades a bit. I have a couple of older bottles that don't smell like I think they should do. But then I have like an older Fahrenheit which lasts on me for 15, 16 hours. You know, I can spray it on like 8 o'clock in the morning and then, you know, come 12 o'clock at night. I used to take showers at night, but I tend to do them in the morning now. So yeah, like I can spray it, you know, 16 hours later, you can still smell it very prominently. And I test that on the back of my hand, you know, I use that as the way of testing longevity. Yeah, I've never picked up a lavender in Fahrenheit either. But like Fahrenheit I've worn Fahrenheit probably 65 plus times over the past few years, which isn't that many times, but like when you consider that you own a lot of fragrances and you sample stuff and you kind of have a heavy rotation, you know, that's a general good amount of stuff. And I've never picked up lavender in there, but I'm also very crap at picking up the leather. Curiously, I was drinking chamomile tea for a while, and just one day I was drinking a chamomile tea, I took a sip, and I was like, that's Fahrenheit. You know, I've always known Fahrenheit as chamomile as a note, but I've just literally never made that association until one day. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I owned Mahari's once upon a time, but I sold it. I think I remember it said it smells like a dentist's office, a prominent clove note. I've never actually smelled Musk Ravenjour to see if they do smell alike, but yeah, that was one of the things, a blind buy that didn't really work out too well for me. I'm going to review Enza Oud #1 at some point because, yeah, it's okay. The best part of that is how the bottle smells. It's wrapped in like sort of full calf hide and the bottle smells amazing, absolutely amazing. I find the fragrance is a bit lackluster. It's okay. So yeah, I don't know, like they bring out a lot of fragrances often. You know, like you need to be sort of, I think basically I'm not their target clientele. I think like, you know, for things like Arige and Enza and like Aga Aura now, like that's the thing now of all these like artisanal brands and now sort of branching out into sort of sprays and sort of, you know, and they've created a bit of they've stepped aside into being these oud vendors now as opposed to branching out and becoming more accessible. And they've realized, I think Arige was basically the trailblazer for that, you know. Arige got massive amounts of hype and other companies have now realized that they want a slice of that pie. So I think they're just trying to get their name out there. I've never tried any other Enza sprays besides Enza 1 and 2. Enza 2 was okay. I remember Nick Hill done a review and he said it was good, it was a good fragrance, but possibly it just wasn't amazing. And I had a sample, actually Peter sent me a sample of it, Peter from Fragrance View, and I was very underwhelmed with it as well. And a lot of the Atars from Enza have been okay, nothing special in my opinion. Okay, that's good to know. I will do that. Although, funny enough, earlier I mentioned how I sprayed this Moschino pour homme, and in my review I couldn't. I was like, "Oh, this is so familiar," but I can't place the note. It was lavender. I was kicking myself for not actually picking that up, but I haven't spent time learning notes. I kind of get notes from this. I smelled this fragrance that has this note. I smelled this fragrance that has that same note. I smelled this fragrance that has the same note. Therefore, that note must be that common thing. And I couldn't actually pick it up in the Moschino. But then once I looked at the note listing, it was like, of course. I was also sent a bottle of Gravitas Pour Homme by Mr. Smelly. So the brand is Norton and Wilson. I need to review that soon because, he sent me a bottle for free, which is great. And again, I was like, this is so familiar, but I can't think what it is. I was like, it's not lavender. It's lavender. Yeah, like it seems like the Reed fans are very die-hard. Like, I don't know, I've kind of read through the base notes threads and yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of money, like basically it's a lot of money to spend. It's like this hobby is it depends on you, I mean, if you have lots of disposable income, then that's great. At some point I did, well, I still do. But like I was spending tons of money on oud, I would just, without a second thought, I'd spend like $800 one night. And I would do this a couple of times a month. Maybe not to that extent, but I'd just drop like a lot of money on samples. And then it's the thrill of the chase. They would come. I'd be really looking forward to them. And then like just try them. I'd just be like, yeah. And I would do it again. Like I think I had this expectation that I was going to find something that would just blow me away. It turns out it was Kuros all along. I've not heard of this. Who's it by? The Baron. So LTL fragrance, is that it? Oh, okay, I was actually going to go like close to an hour ago. You guys have kept me up. It's been engaging, fair play. Yeah, I mean, it's a hobby's a hobby, right? People collect cars and get into biking. Like I went mountain biking today into like a sort of bike park where I had to basically buy a full face helmet, goggles, new gloves. I spent a lot of money just to get all this equipment to go cycling. But for me, I look at that as a worthwhile investment because I know it's going to increase my. Like hobby is a weird one, right? I kind of look at it as a positive one because it's going to benefit me mentally and sort of physically and whatnot. Like I guess fragrance is. So a friend of mine had a good quote of like, every fragrance you buy, if you look at it, will that fragrance make you smell better than you currently do? And if you take that approach, it makes you question it a bit. So I don't know. Like I do look at a fragrance as a hobby, but okay, I'm all over the place today. I saw this interesting thread on Base Notes, which is, what is the hobby of fragrance? Is it actually consumerism, Is the hobby just purchasing stuff? Or is it the actual act of smelling it? Because, realistically, you can only smell one fragrance at a time or smell or wear one fragrance at a time. You can wear multiple ones, of course. And interestingly with fragrance is if you smell one fragrance, basically the smell of that will linger in your scent receptors. So if you smell another fragrance, you may get like an overlap of two different scents. So like when people do side-by-side comparisons of scents, it's a really bad way of doing it because you should kind of do it on two separate days because smelling fragrance A and then smelling fragrance B, which is meant to be like a clone or something, you get like the overlap. I'm not even sure what I'm wearing at the moment. Yeah, I had this as an attar, which was really nice. It was kind of musky and something. I sold it off in the end because I went absolutely mental with buying samples of oud and whatnot, and a lot of them had kind of turned a bit. You know, they just kind of they're kind of just flat. They're not as vibrant as they once were, and I look at that as annoying. I had a bunch of Aga Aura ones, which are I can't be asked to get up and show you. But yeah, they were in these plastic vials, and the oil solidified, and you were able to scrape them off and swipe them on, but it was just like crap almost. And they were like $130 for 0.15 mil, and literally, I wasted like $200. I don't deal in dollars; it's pounds over here, but that's a lot of money for something which, yeah, people say you should buy samples and use them, and I agree with that. You shouldn't be buying samples, kind of holding on to them and letting them age for 2 years. It will mess the setup. But yeah, this is a good point. It's yeah. Yeah, boy. What bike do you ride? So at the moment, I actually don't own a mountain bike. I basically work for a bike company, and I'm borrowing a demo bike. I have a Specialized stump jumper, which is it must be like a 2014 or earlier, because it's a 2x chainring, and I think it was around 2015 is when, I think I'm speaking fast here. I think it's around 2015 is when like bikes started having sort of dropper posts and being won by stock. Like this is a carbon stump jumper, which is probably like £4,000 retail, and it's 2x with no dropper post. So it's fairly old, but I've just reignited this. I used to ride a giant trance, and I was really into mountain biking for ages. I fell tons of times, and in the end, I just kind of gave it up. I would just get a really bad pain in my hand from sort of death gripping and just not being very skilled at it. So I'm just slowly getting back into it now, and it's just really fun. Like, I had an amazing day today. That's interesting. As a young adult, I suppose, or a teenager, yeah, I had a few experiences with this, and it's been a while, but yeah, I don't think it's for me nowadays. Yeah, over here in Wales, they would grow. It's odd as well. Like, we get Liberty caps, I believe they're called. I know, like, in America, it's kind of the fly amascaria, or I don't know how you pronounce it. But you tend to get like really thick ones, whereas over here we'd measure dosage based on number as opposed to weight. So we'd go to a field; it was literally littered with them. Take them home, dry them out, and we'd do like a trip of 100, for example. But I have no idea what that would be in weight. Nice. There you go. That's the word I was trying to pronounce. Amanita muscaria. Damn. So what road bike do you use? I've been a constant road cyclist. I had like a Specialized Cirrus, which is a hybrid bike, but it had these bar ends, almost like the ones you get at the gym. And I tell you what, for climbing, that thing was amazing because it was geared like a mountain bike, but it was like hybrid bikes generally have suspension, but this was a very it was like a mountain bike geared road bike. It was really good, just didn't have the drop handlebars, but it had these bar ends, and honestly, you could really climb up hills. It was amazing. Ah, yeah, sorry, I misread that second part of your comments. Yeah, that's cool. Sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat now. Yeah, like, I can't remember the dosage, but I've done them a few times by myself, and this one time I just really messed myself up by I basically would brew brew tea in like in the saucepan, or the saucepan, sorry, and yeah, just basically brew up a bunch of mushrooms, kind of drink them, and yeah, I don't know. I took it myself one time. I went up the field, and I came back, and I was like really out of it. My parents didn't know that I'd taken it, and they were quite concerned. And I remember I was very like off it. I went back and I listened to death metal, like I listened to a lot of metal. And back then I was exclusively listening to metal. So I remember I was like, I went to my PC to try and calm down. And I was just like flicking through my playlist and shuffle. And it was like bands like Cannibal Corpse and things like that. And like, boom, 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 dun, 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 dun. And it was difficult to sort of, I was like, my dad, just give me something chilled out. I want to listen to something easy going. But all I had was metal. Yeah, I think like, you know, when you get posters of mushrooms and like the classical depiction of mushrooms is generally the aminte. I'm aware that there are spore kits you can buy. So you can effectively buy a bag and then I think you just put some water in it and leave it in a dark room, and you effectively just trigger off the growth of them. And they grow. I don't really know if it works or not, but I've heard people get good results from this. Nice. Yeah, so I'm currently riding a giant, this is such a mouthful. It's a Giantify Pro Advanced 1 2020, which is really cool. It's got electronic shifting. It's, yeah, so there's no wires going to the gears, which is really cool. But there was one time I didn't ride it for a few months, and I took it to work with me in my car, thankfully, for the people in work to look at. And I went to go for a spin around the car park. I went to change gear. I was like, nothing's happening. So of course the battery had died. So yeah, you have to keep the batteries charged in these things. That sounds interesting. I remember again, like in my youth, I would just eat them raw. You know, I wouldn't boil them. And I think I was drinking orange juice because there was the whole thing of, you know, vitamin C is meant to increase the potency or some shit. And yeah, misspent youth, I guess. Right, guys, I'm gonna give it 3 minutes and go. I was gonna wait for 2 hours, and fair play, you guys have kept me engaged. I thought I might struggle actually to kind of keep the stream going for a while, but I appreciate all the input and the chats. You know, it's been cool. But I have to keep it going now because I'll say that, and then that'll be at the end of it. So to 3 hours. I could I don't know why I picked the guitar up. Mushrooms is DMT. Is that? That's a new one to me. I always thought DMT was like. Oh. I guess you guys are like aware of Erowid or Erowid. You know, I used to spend so much time on that as a kid, reading about people's trip experiences. I just used to find quite a lot of enjoyment in that. Like, there's a drug called Datura, which is it's called like the devil's leaves or something, and it's like a dissociative, and just reading how people reacted to it was always it used to sort of almost trip me out, just reading how other people reacted to it. Yeah, is that site still going? Yeah, boy. God, that I have been on this site for years and it has not changed. Even the homepage is exactly the same. Jesus Christ. Wow, so yeah, like, so I'm looking on Erowid now, and there's a site of thing Brugmansia. God. Echinacea. Banis. I don't even know what half this shit is. Banistereopus. God, that sounded very Welsh then. LSD. yeah, I think Datura grows naturally in the US, right? Like it's not, yeah, it's not kind of commonly found over here as far as I know. I'm trying to think what it's called, the Devil's Lettuce or something. Ah, the Devil's Trumpet. Yeah, and again, like on airways, you get people's reports of, oh, I took LSD and MDMA and Datura. I smoked lots of joints. I was sniffing cocaine. Yeah, I was thinking, fuck, are these like fake stories or just crazy, crazy, crazy? Oh. Yeah, the whole approach of microdosing is an interesting one. Like, I haven't experimented with anything like this in a long time, but you know, it's not something I really wish to take up again. But the whole idea of yeah, microdosing is an interesting one to say the least. It's not something I've looked into much, but you know, I've kind of maybe read one article about it. Okay, I've only read the first bit of this comment. I was like, what? I have albedo penis envy. Right, guys, it's been fun. I'm calling it now. It's 2 a.m. I'm bloody knackered. I've got a few days off work now, so I'm going to make the most of it and do some mountain biking and some road riding. I've been kind of lazy recently. I haven't sort of done much distance on my road bike, so I'm going to try and do like a 50-mile ride, which would be, I don't know, 80 kilometers. Dead on. Boom. That's some good maths for there. Right, so guys, thank you for tuning in, and it's been interesting. And I appreciate all the chats and whatnot. I'm going to try and maybe I'll do more of these in the future. It's been kind of cool. There's a channel called Channel 69 Reformulations. I sometimes jump on that stream, like just because there's a guy, Kevin, who popped on earlier. He's an interesting character, and me and him just have good chats. You know, it's not necessarily about fragrances, and he's very good at just bringing out conversation. So I enjoy jumping on there and sort of talking. So yeah, I'm sorry to cut this short. I don't know if the chat will still continue if I end the stream, but if it does, then I guess you guys can carry on talking. Or I don't know. YouTube isn't very good nowadays for allowing personal communication, right? You used to be able to talk to each other, but I don't think you can anymore. Yeah, Brian, Mr. Bitcoin and whatnot, it's been good talking to you. Jesus Christ. 100 kilometers on the bike every day. Fair play, bro. Fair play. But yeah, it's been cool, everyone. It's been good. Yeah. Right. Peace out.